26 years ago, a revolution began in the world of video games. 26 years ago, one of the greatest franchises of all time was born. 26 years ago, dreams came true. 26 years ago, Pokemon began. 4 years later, in a little town in the middle of nowhere, a child was born. This child was more than the average child. He had a destiny. Him and his Pokemon were destined for each other. He began to study Pokemon, live like Pokemon, dream about Pokemon. Elsewhere, three young trainers began to hone their Pokecraft at an entirely different level. The first of these three warriors went by the name Tin Hat. However, you may know them by a different name, the Shiny Killer. The Shiny Killer was the first to discover the existence of shiny Pokemon. But did they catch it? Ha! Nay. The mighty Shiny Killer had no need for such trivial games. And thus, our first legend was born. The second of these two warriors was one by the name of Hopsmith, although you may know them better as the Collector. The Collector has never missed anything in a Pokemon game. Ever. Hidden items? Got 'em. Pokédex? Completed 'em. TMs? Collected and organized by number. With their massive stacks of loot and boxes full of shinies, they found their way to Twitch. From there, the Collector collected one more thing. A massive following. And to round off this holy trinity of Pokemaster warriors, Zitrone. However, you may know them as the Pokédex. The Pokédex is known far and wide for being a human damage calculator with an encyclopedic knowledge of Pokemon with battling skills to boot. The Pokédex is near unbeatable. 20-some-odd years later, these four legendary Pokémasters were to meet. By this time, many things had changed. The world is no longer just Kanto. There are more than 150 Pokemon. Mega Evolution, Z-Moves, Dynamax, Gigantamax, regional variants, spin-off games, and so much more. The four Pokemon Masters knew what must be done. It was time to find out which generation reigned supreme.
Which is why
Hello,
Post Malone is the best music in Pokemon.
everybody.
That's my case.
I agree.
How are we all? Oh, this is off to a wild
I
start.
love the strategic waiting a couple seconds for the perfect time to derail the host. It was excellent. For those at home, there was I was just like, all right, we're going live, and there was like plenty of time for Tin Hat to get his last joke off. Waited until he's like, here we go.
Waited for me to switch scenes, be like, all right, and
Yep.
joke.
That's good.
Oh, all right,
It's almost like I planned it that way.
almost.
I know.
So we are here, back again, once again. This is the court. You know us already, but in case you have been living under a rock, in case you did not watch the promo video that just played 2 seconds ago, in case you were not here 2 weeks ago for the court's first meeting, the man to my side, I still do not know my lefts and rights, is the Pokédex,
What's going on,
the
everybody?
Trone. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing great. I'm here to rank mostly Pokemon music. We're gonna get some answers today.
That we are. And we will not just be ranking music, we will today we will find out definitively which Pokemon game is the best
Hmm.
with science.
I'm already planning to be the dissenting opinion. I'm going to write a very strongly worded statement on why I disagree, even though I've agreed with most of the things we've done so far.
I will also say, one member of the court last time, when I was rewatching the stream, said at the very beginning of the stream that at some point during this entire parlay, they were planning on getting up and walking it. They still have yet to do that. So, I think today might be the day. I think it is also time to introduce that person. It is the man to my diagonal, the shiny killer, Tin Hat Bobcat. How you doing?
Post Malone is my favorite Pokemon. Thank you for asking.
I
I'm
did
doing
in
great.
fact ask.
I'm doing great. Frankly, the fact that I haven't walked out yet is more of an indictment of you guys than it is of me. It means that your takes are cold at best.
Tin Hat, as an Irish citizen, Post Malone is something you say to someone in Ireland that you don't like, right?
Yes, you got it. You got it right.
Post Malone. I put on my best Lucky Charms accent for that one.
That's actually what they originally called Lucky Charms before they were sued by the other Kevin.
Malones.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I'm doing great. I'm feeling great. I'm confident that Gen 3, the best gen, will win in the end still. So yeah.
I think Gen 3 has a rough road ahead of it today, but we will see.
I will fight tooth and nail to make sure it has the smoothest possible road.
And the final member of the court, the person beneath me, is in fact the one, the only. You may know them as Hopsmith, but they are the Collector. How you doing, Collector?
Oh, I'm good.
Who's back there?
I'm good.
We got a bean sighting?
No, she's over here. I studied up since the last time. I had to get ready for this. I played every single Yokai Watch game. I'm ready to go.
This is a Monster Rancher stream, right?
I made sure to play every Yu-Gi-Oh! World Championship tournament game up until 2011, of course, when it all went downhill.
All right, well, since they let it out of the bag, I guess now is good enough time as any to announce that we are actually not doing Pokemon. We dropped that. This is actually a 4-person Soul Link of Yokai Watch.
Oh my
Nice.
god.
So everybody
Nice.
let's load up our DSi? 3DS?
It's a cat with a bandana.
Oh my god.
Ooh.
I like the ghost with the British accent personally, but
That's just every Ghost Ice.
And I've also
Damn
played
it.
this game and know what it is.
Hell yeah.
I know very little about Yokai Watch. Really, the extent of my Yokai Watch knowledge is the ad that they would play on Cartoon Network.
Nice.
So, with that being said, I think before we get into our first category today, I think we should go over what the scores were from last time. We're not going to go over every individual category, obviously, but we went over the Pokedex and the NPCs last time. So if you haven't seen the last stream, it is in fact on this channel. You can go and watch it rather before or after this. But the scores as they stand right now are in last place with 32 points, Gen 7.
Yeah.
In second to last place with 33 points is Gen 6. In sixth place with 35 points is Gen 2. And my heart broke when I opened this document and saw that earlier. In fifth place with 40 points, it is Gen 8. In fourth place with 48 points is Gen 5. In third place, yes, third comes after fourth. In third place with 49 points is Gen 4. In second place with 61 points is Gen 1. And in first place with 62 points, only a 1 point difference, is Gen 3.
Stop the count.
Stop it right here. We're done.
Tinhat spent the entire last stream defending Gen 7, and now he's like on board with Gen 3.
Like Gen 7's last.
I said off the rip that 3 is my favorite, but 7 is the one I'll die hardest.
It's like a Bulls fan that's gonna cheer for the Bucks the rest of the way.
Yeah, who'd do that? That's wild. That's weird. Can't imagine anybody doing that because they've lived in both places. That'd be a weird thing to do.
Yeah, it sure would be.
I don't think I'd want to associate with anybody like that, if I'm being honest.
No one has actually ever moved from Chicago to Wisconsin and vice versa.
No.
It's never happened. We built a wall early.
I was gonna say, is that even possible? Like,
You can't get there.
yeah.
Chest high wall.
Yeah.
I know a certain former president who would be very proud of you. Shouldn't have went there, but I did.
It's George Washington.
All right.
He could
Moving.
not tell a lie.
George Washington, noted Bucks fan.
Noted someone who knew what Wisconsin was because it existed at the time. I sort of ranking. I'm so sorry.
No, you're good. Also, just elephant in the room. I'm gonna get ahead of this now. I've already told my jury members, my former or my fellow court members. I got in a fight today. It was brutal.
He's moving to his uncle and auntie's in Bel Air.
Yeah. So this is just a battle wound. You should see the other guy, but this is where we're at.
Anymore.
You can't. Yeah.
I mean, the other guy can't see either anymore, so.
And if any authorities are watching this is all a joke. All right. Our first category of the day is, in fact, what we were going to do last time, but we needed to go and we needed to do some training. We needed to do some studying. It is, in fact, the music of the Pokemon world. In our first subcategory of the music.
Could I actually? Well, what's the first subcategory? Yeah.
The first subcategory is, in fact, rival themes.
I wanted to request that we do general trainer battles
First,
because so many of the other types of fights build off of the standard trainer themes for the regions. Would that be okay?
you know what, Collector? I like the cut of your jib. I say we should 100% start with trainer music instead. So, I will
I had
throw
a couple of questions
to the room. Yes.
about how we're going to consider these songs, because there's a lot of this is more important when we get to rival battles, but I wanted to establish it early. There are some songs where every game has its own version of that, like the walking song or the wild Pokemon battle song. There's also some songs, specifically themes for characters, who recur throughout the series, where you get new versions of that theme. And I wanted to ask, do you either consider the new versions of that theme to be part of the original generation where they occurred? Do you consider them to be part of the generation where they actually can be heard, or should we try to ignore them when reviewing this? Because with the stuff we were doing before, like gym leaders or rivals or something like that, the actual NPC, we were trying to consider them part of the generation that they came from, because that's where they were established. But I'm not sure we should do the same thing for songs because of the technology differences in the generations, meaning that Gen 7's red theme can do things that Gen 1's or Gen 2's red theme simply couldn't on the Game Boy.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to get all y'all's takes on kind of when songs come up in later generations and have a remix.
So my notes that I took in terms of remixes and stuff, because there are a few examples of that. So I did that
strictly based off of when the games came out time period wise.
Mm,
So for music, I counted Oras as Gen 6.
okay.
Oh.
So just because I think that it's the most fair to consider with, as the collector was saying, the technology involved, I think it's only fair to judge that with the things that can do the same things that it can. So like for example, the one that immediately came to mind was Wally's theme.
Mm-hmm.
I counted that as Gen 6. I did not count that as Gen 3.
Sure.
So, two questions then to follow on that. One is, what if it is an old track that hasn't been remade, but is used in the new game, so it still sounds better, but it's still the old track? So I'm thinking Sky Pillar theme for Zinnia's fight in Oras, which is one of the best moments in Oras.
Mm.
I would say
I-
that you could argue that either way.
Because it's a throwback. Like, the idea is that, like, you're listening to Oras music and it's like, oh hell, this is Emerald Sky Pillar theme,
Hmm.
Sure.
which
It's
also
not remixed at all.
not for her fight.
Interesting.
So there's actually, that happens twice in Gen 6. That
Mm.
happens with her in Sky Pillar, and it happens when you fight in X and Y. What's her in the post game Looker's apprentice? Maybe that's Gen 7.
It's
The
Gen
purple-haired
7.
girl. Yeah, the
Annabelle.
purple-haired girl. Annabelle. Yeah, you listen to her theme from Gen 4, whatever
Yep.
it was. No, it's
That's
Gen 3.
that's Gen
It's Gen
7.
Frontier. That's it. But yeah, but it's a throwback too.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You get the
I would say we can handle that one of two ways. Number one, where the theme originated, because it is, I am pretty sure, the same exact cut and paste theme. So rather where it originated. So for Sky Temple, it would be Gen 3. Or we could say you could argue that for both, which I think is also fair.
I think that kind of ties into my second question. Maybe we can discuss them as one thing, because are we considering the music on its own merit or as part of where it's used? And maybe I'll kickstart a discussion too early here, but if we were to talk about the surfing themes in Gen 3, would we talk about them as their own song or not disliking them because you have to surf so much in the game? And I'm a little in favor of music on its own.
Yeah.
Because I haven't played some of the late Gen 8 stuff, some of the Gen 7 stuff, but I still listened to the music.
Mhm.
So I can only evaluate it as the music, not as like the memories I associate with doing the things that caused that music to play.
I agree with you to an extent. I think, without getting ahead of ourselves, I think sometimes the music needs to fit the situation that it's in.
Sure.
So
Oh, sure.
I'm not going to use any examples in this category, but we know that there's a category of champion themes. I think that those themes need to fit being a champion theme. I don't think we can
Sure.
say, oh, I listen to the song on the treadmill, I like it,
That makes
so it's a good theme for a champion.
sense. Sure.
So I think that should be taken into account. I do agree with you, though, that, like, oh, I have to surf too much, or, oh, I hate cave music because I hate getting caught with Zubat fights. I don't think
Sure.
that should be taken into account.
I think that's fair. I think that I broadly agree with both of those. I think the only caveat to that would be that a lot of Nintendo music specifically is designed to be something that you can listen to forever and not get tired of.
Yeah.
And so if it's like, man, I don't like Zubats, therefore I don't like this, then that's, I mean, we need to see like a musical therapist and unearth why we have those bad feelings with that song. We can get through it together. But if it's just like, we listen to this song all the time in this game, and it like gets old fast. So I think there's something to that.
Sure. So what if we consider music both on its own and then also with our memories of the game for that track? Try to do both as best we can. And consider music to be part of the generation when you can first hear that version of it. So that's Gen 3 Sky Pillar mix is Gen 3 no matter when it's playing, but an ORAS version of Red's theme belongs to Gen 6, whereas the Gen 2 version of Red theme belongs to Gen 2.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
That sounds good to me. I
Alright,
think that's the
sick.
best way to put it. So,
Sick. Thank you guys for clarifying that for me.
Sam's like, now that I've set up my argument, it's time.
I'm glad
It's
to
time
see
to
that we've
entrap
all
you all in
agreed
what
to
you
this
agreed to.
chessboard.
Uh-oh.
Have you ever heard of the Queen's Gambit?
The Cream's Gambit.
So, with that being said, Collector, would you like to start us off with the trainer music?
Yeah, sure. Do we want to tackle things kind of the way we did last time, where we just like, let's start with number 1? Or do we want to go through the generations? And I guess, what approach should we take here? Yeah.
I think for music, maybe we should go through the generations in order.
Okay.
Because, obviously, as we already kind of mentioned, technology advances, and so does the music. So I think maybe it's the best to look at it in the order that it came out in that front.
Sure. Okay, yeah, for sure. So when I was listening to the trainer music, Gen 1 is like, and I'm just gonna say this about Gen 1, and it's hard not to. I think we were saying the same thing when we were talking about like the Pokemon in the Pokedex, but it's super classic. Like the Gen 1 trainer theme is iterated on both in Gen 1 for other battles and then also in other generations. A lot of the other generations' music, even when the trainer theme is wildly different, has like a bridge that is like bringing back a theme from the Gen 1 trainer music. I thought it was like surprisingly complex for the generation. Like there was a lot of different ideas before it looped, which is pretty impressive because of how limited the storage was on the Game Boy carts. And yeah, I thought it was really good. I'd rank it pretty highly. I'm not sure if I would put it first, but I'd put it in the top 3 for me, generation wise. Just the trainer music in Gen 1, standard trainer music.
I was gonna say like something similar, and when we were having the conversation about like, are we ranking them based on when we could first hear them? I think the Gen 1 music is better in the original like versions of them. For me personally, I'm sure other people would prefer the like Fire Red Leaf Green versions and all of the other like the Let's Go ones that we have later. I think they work really well for the technology they were designed on. In a way that when we bring in like actual like synthetic instruments later, I still think they sound really good because they're cool compositions. But I don't know, I think they work really well on the little like 8-bit like restrictions that they had on them.
Yeah.
I was gonna say top 1 or top 2 um, for Gen 1 for the very same reasons of their they get used all the time for a reason. And I don't think we can ignore that. I don't want to be too like Gen 1 biased. I know we said that a million times last time, but I think it's
I think
there's
this is
something.
one area where it's not bias. This is what they, it's not even us thinking it anymore. It is them telling us this is in so many different places. This is iconic. It's not even just our memories of it. It
Sure.
is this iconic theme that you can find in every single Pokemon game in one way or another. Um, Rather it be the Battle Subway in Gen 5 or the Battle Tree in Gen 7, or it's everywhere in one way or another. Um, I will say, I took points off of certain generations for doing a disservice to this theme.
Sure.
Like,
Yeah.
I think that this theme, as it is the Gen 1 8-bit theme, I think needs to be ranked pretty high.
What are you thinking, Tin Hat?
Yeah, I don't know if I'd go 1, but I definitely put it 2 or 3. I think the only disadvantage that it has to me is Pokemon battles don't tend to last very long. And Gen 1's theme suffers really heavily from having a really boring part.
Oh, you think so? Which part?
I
Well,
do.
it's hard to remember,
So,
but yeah.
I guess depending on like what length you listen to, there's like one bit where like everything cuts out except for like the do 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 do
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
and like there are just other versions of it that handle that better. And that's
I
just
agree.
judging it out of context. Because in
Sure.
context, you'll never notice that. Like
Sure.
in context of a battle, you'll probably never get to the part where you're like, "Oh, this doesn't bop anymore." I'm waiting
Yeah.
for the bop to come back. Because most of the time, all you're getting is the boppiest part, which is great. Um, yeah, I think that what Gen 1 shows, even more than Gen 2, I think, is that your limitations of your of your hardware and your software for storing music um, doesn't mean that that you can get away with not having a banger.
Sure.
Yeah.
So
It's
yeah, I'd put it probably number 2.
it's
overall.
really interesting what you were saying about that slower part. So this is something I wanted to mention early as well. I in like my notes used a lot of like music terms, probably wrong because I don't have like education, like college level education in music, and I haven't been making music for a long time. But I called that part the breakdown sometimes, or the bridge.
Mm-hmm.
It's right before it loops. It's this slower bit right before it loops back into the like hype part right after the intro. And it's interesting that you dislike that because that's actually one of my favorite parts of the song and just in general of most of these songs is that like deconstructed breakdown part.
It's one of my favorite parts in other generations.
Okay, sure.
I'll make that clarification. There are other gens that do that I think do it fantastically, and it's just because of I think the context of Gen 1. Like I said, we're in trying to separate like context. Like it's not something that I
Sure.
ever really noticed in game. But like just listening to it, it's one of those things where I'm like, oh, I can see where maybe they were limited by the fact that they could only use certain stuff here
Yeah.
because the complexity, like the kind of breakdown that we get in other generations that like hit you like that set you up for the smack of coming back into
Yeah.
it, I think are just amplified by the things that they're able to do in later generations.
That makes sense.
So,
In Gen 1 it is that like do part.
Yeah.
And I think part of it is because just from a technology side, they start at like this much complexity, like this many tracks. They can only be making like 5 sounds at once. So when they simplify it, it gets down to like 2 sounds at once.
Mm-hmm.
I can see how that would be like not enough to keep you engaged. So
Yeah.
that makes sense.
I still think it's great. Like I said, it's still like number 2 for me. So
I would also put Gen 1 at number 2.
I'm gonna lock that in.
I would too. Yeah, I think Gen 1 at number 2 I think is a solid choice. So let's lock that in.
that means
Should
we're on
we?
to Gen 2, right?
No, I was gonna say maybe we should then say what we think number 1 is.
I mean,
That's
Because I.
fair.
Because
Yeah.
I'm ready to tear apart Gen 2 whenever we get there.
Oh, okay.
Tin Hat, you
I
won't
got-
be
yeah,
alone.
Should we do? Do you want to tear apart Gen 2, or should we talk
Yes.
about what we think is better than Gen 1?
Yeah,
I think talk about what's better than Gen 1. We can come back to Gen 2.
Okay.
Oh, we can also do I don't know. We don't have to do
I am
that.
throwing my hat in the ring, and Tin Hat is gonna get a smile for Gen 7.
Whoa.
Gen 7 is
I
not my
don't-
number 1, but I do really like Gen 7's trainer theme. I really like. We were talking about breakdowns. The breakdown for Sun and Moon is
It's pretty cool.
Very good.
Yes.
Is very good.
They even have that like kind of like screaming guitar in the
Yes.
background. Like what?
So this
That's
is
pretty
why
cool.
my number 1 is actually Gen 6.
Whoa.
The guitar in Gen 6
It's so good.
is a bop.
Listen,
Oh
so
my
listening to this
gosh.
video that you sent me, Sam,
Yeah.
I was listening through to it, and the moment you get to Gen 6, it's just like this change, this dynamic
is.
change.
Yeah.
And I love it. I was like, oh my god, this is what I thought I was hearing when I was a kid.
Here,
Mhm.
can I read my Gen 6 notes?
Yes.
My Gen 6 note, and I was writing these like in order.
Mhm.
Wildly different electric guitar and real instrumentation complements the transition to 3D. So
Mhm.
it is the first one where they're like either using like real MIDI instruments or sampling authentic instruments. But I think Gen 6's trainer theme is pretty weak despite
Oh,
that.
I
I
really
think
like it.
I think Gen 7 is a straight upgrade over Gen 6.
I agree.
It feels like Gen 6 is them switching to that new style, and Gen 7 is them actually nailing it in that new style.
Is Gen 7 brought down by how way over busy Ultra Sun Ultra Moon song is?
No, I
No,
love the
I
Ultra
love
Sun,
it.
Ultra Moon
Oh.
one.
I love it.
Yeah.
For the first time, check it, chat. For the first time, I'm the one who's like, maybe Gen 7 isn't as good. Everyone's like, no, you idiot.
I wrote Gen 7 Ultra Sun Ultra Moon exclamation point.
Yeah.
So good.
Wow. Okay.
The-
all right. All right.
the original-
I'm here for it. I will gladly concede.
The original Sun and Moon has this is like obsessed with like trading phrases between instrumentation, where like one instrument is like do 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 and another one is like do 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 do, like it's like call and response almost. Whereas Ultra Sun Ultra Moon took this like far more techno approach, I thought, to the trainer battle, with lots of like ladder scales where it's like climbing up the scale and back down and stuff. But I really liked the dynamics in Ultra Sun Ultra Moon's trainer theme. There was like swells of things that really caught my attention.
What I will say about Usum is that it has maybe the best use of stereo in the entire
Yes.
series. The
That's-
stereo effect of
Oh,
Ultra Sun
man.
Ultra Moon is maybe. You know what? No, I'm on board. Gen 7 actually is the best.
Just quickly, everybody,
Yeah, no
Kandeji
curse.
has redeemed no cursing, so for the next 10 minutes, I know Tin Hat, this won't be a
Oh.
problem for you, but for
Yeah,
the
I'm
next 10
fine.
minutes, we cannot curse.
Heck
Dandy,
that.
baby.
I actually have never done that, so it won't be
Flip.
an issue.
Yeah. Flip out,
I-
baby.
I think
would
I'm the
put-
only big cursor in this call, so.
Oh, that's not true. I swear constantly all the time.
Yeah. I would put Gen 7 third, I think. For the trainer theme.
What's
Switch
your
it up
number
first.
one?
For each
My
swear, you'll donate 1 sub.
Oh my god. My number one is Gen 5 for music. Yeah. Yep.
I think Gen 5 is it gives you a very classic Pokemon feel. It feels very Pokemon trainer battle to me. I don't have a clear number one, so I am right now a sponge for what other people want their number one to be.
I will say,
I don't like
oh.
Gen 5 that much.
Just-
I like not the
oh,
generation, the
my
song.
god, what
The
just
song.
happened?
I think. Oh, we good, Ice?
Yep, I just accidentally hit my DVI cord out of my desktop.
Oh,
But we're back, we're
Nice.
good.
nice.
Nobody
about
should
to
have
say
seen
something.
anything. I think before we move on to Gen 7, or before we move away from Gen 7, excuse me, I would be remiss if I didn't bring up the fact. Ice, you gotta turn yourself down and them up. Okay. They are all the way up, but I will turn myself down and I will add them up on Discord in one moment. Because I know that rewatching last time, I knew that was a problem, so I kind of tried to jump out of it, but good to know. Thank you, Deji. What I will say before we move on is the
Yeah.
horns in the Gen 7 theme they hit different. Like, that is a notable, like, how we were talking about between Gen 6 and Gen 7.
Sure.
I think that the use of the wind instruments in the Gen 7 theme is, for me, what the Gen 6 theme was missing to
Sure.
be one step higher. Is it felt to me and this is gonna sound like I'm over exaggerating, but I'm really not. Like it's a whole orchestra. Like it
Mhm.
felt full. It felt
Mhm.
finished. And then I actually listened to them in reverse as well.
Oh,
So I
nice.
listened to them in order and then I listened to them in reverse. And I'm like, that's what Gen 6 is missing. Gen 6 just doesn't feel complete, whereas Gen 7 feels like this complete entity,
Sure.
which is why I like it so much. And now I'm going to be quiet
I
for a
would
minute while
agree
I do
with-
the audio.
I would agree with that. The like completeness thing. Tin Hat mentioned the stereo in Gen 7's tracks. I agree that it's good, but I also want to highlight that it's one of the few times I think it's good. Because a lot of the times when they try to use like a panning, I'm just like, fucking stop.
It's
This
so
is
bad so much of the time.
That's a swear,
Yeah.
buddy.
Oh, I gotta donate a sub to who?
No, you don't. You don't.
um,
Not so true. No,
Yeah.
you're right. You're right. Usually the stereo effects are bad, which makes sense for game systems that would be primarily listened to in essentially mono.
right? Yeah, my SP has one speaker, so yeah.
This
I'm
is
good
actually.
to give Gen 7 a win if we like.
Well, hang
I
on.
don't think
I still want
they-
to hear why Gen 5 is good.
I would put Gen 5 above Gen 7 personally for me. I really like this isn't always true, but for the trainer tracks specifically, I really like the more chiptune like the sound fonts that you get in Gen 1 through 5. Um, the black and white trainer theme, I think, is solid, but not just the black and white trainer theme alone would not put it at number one for me. But the black and white trainer theme has this synth that is doing the harmony in the intro and like the first phrase that's very cool and very fun. And I think it does continue to be a good rest of the song. The Black and White 2 trainer theme takes that synth that is doing the harmony and just like keeps it through the rest of the song, doing cool harmonies for the rest of the song. And it just sends the whole dang thing like to the next level for me. I also, this might be cheating, but and I didn't know this before I got into listening to them, and I sent them to you guys before I listened to them. The video that I sent y'all for the trainer themes had the black and white 2 subway trainer themes
Mhm.
in it too. That song I think is also really cool because it's got this hi-hat 16th notes that are just going the whole song, and these musical phrases that end with like a sliding like detune down, like the Doppler effect
Really
you
good.
would get when a train comes at you and then goes away.
Mhm.
And
That's
so
pretty
it
cool.
just sounds like train music, which is
So-
really cool.
The subway
Just-
theme is the best one in Gen 5. I think.
Yeah,
Quickly,
I
sorry
yeah.
to interrupt everything that's going on here. I just need to point out the beautiful irony of what is going down in chat of Sam swearing,
Yeah.
then Deji living up to their word in
Oh my
gifting a
gosh.
sub. Thank you for that gift sub. To, of all people, Katie Joe.
Wow,
So,
that's great.
thank you so much for that
you,
gift
Pandeji.
sub, Pandeji. Thank you. And Katie Joe, welcome on in, as well as thank you for the sub.
My while we're
Got a
all
redemption ice, by the way.
Sorry?
You've got a redemption, by the way.
I
The
do.
hat?
it already
Yes.
happened, I think, right?
Let me go.
No, he just turned it around.
Oh.
I did only turn it around. I cheated. It's still my AEW hat. I'll do another wrestling hat for
Yeah,
just for
I'll
you,
shave
Tin
my
Hat.
head.
Just for you.
That
I
looks
said
great
before
with the
this
headphones.
that
It's really
we
good.
weren't gonna need replacement hats. I thought I had turned that one off. I guess not.
I'll
Bucket
I'll
hats
show off
work really well with,
my AMD beer koozie at this time.
Beautiful.
Nice, excellent.
Um,
I said earlier that I don't have a number one. I had in my notes for this one, and I was kind of hesitant to say this. I think Gen 3 is my number one, just because I think that, and I don't have Sam went into this and said like, I don't have a lot of musical knowledge, and then broke all the music down very like intelligently and
Yes.
well. I'm not going to do that. What I really like about Gen 3 is I think that it's, for me, the perfect song for like going about and starting a journey and just being in like a medium stakes encounter where it's just fun. Like
Yeah.
that is a game. That's the first Pokemon game that has really like, hey, end of days themes going on in it. And I feel like the Gen 3 trainer theme is just very like, I'm having a great time training Pokemon. And I think they capitalized really well on like the up. I mean, they all, you know, have upgrades to technology that allow them to do more
Sure.
things. I really like this era of like the kind of synth, is it a horn, is it a not type horn thing in the background
Yeah.
that like really complements all of the like more like piano sounds that go on in it. I think it does a very good job across the board in all of those. That would be my number one. But I see the merit in Gens 5 and 7.
Dude, the Gen 3 instrumentation is such a leap. Like it's not the same kind of leap that you get to Gen 6 where you get like facsimiles of real instruments,
Mhm.
but Gen 1 you've got just your like sine wave, saw wave, like square wave synths. And then and it doesn't really use much for like drums in Gen 1. Gen 2 starts to implement like noise hits for drums. But Gen 3 is where that like saw wave becomes like brass and it
Yeah.
hits you with that horn. But the thing that I love about the Gen 3 trainer theme is the fucking timpanis. You
Yes.
get this like
Yes.
you get these moments where it's like dum 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 dum, and it's so good. It's so clearly a timpani too. I love it.
Percussion of Gen 3 is so much better than.
Yeah.
So I think this is part of why I don't like Gen 4.
Mm.
Gen 4, I think, is just garbage Gen 3. It's
Sure.
like tinnier to me. It doesn't. Same reason I don't like Gen 2. Gen 2 is like shriller Gen 1.
I
think
like
Gen
the
4
Gen
does
2
that for Gen
music,
3.
but I don't think it's going to be close to the top for me.
I Gen 4 I thought was like solid, kind of stiff. I thought it had a really good breakdown, but it was just like
We can
it's like
swear.
how Heilman's old style is the beeriest beer.
Yeah.
Gen 4 trainer battle music is the traineriest battle music.
Mm.
Like it's just so normal. It is not bad, but nor is it better than anything good, you know?
Yeah.
It's not I did think it had a great breakdown. Gen 2 I really like there's this motif in the Gen 2 trainer battle theme where it's like a synth that's like doo, 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 that is like radio or like cell phone signal. And that fits so well with the game. And it has a great groove with like and the breakdown's got this sick crescendo. But the intro to the Gen 2 trainer battle music, I think is bad. Like I think it is one of the few things this music overall is so good. So many of the things that I have to say about all the generations is positive. The intro to the Gen 2 trainer battle music is like grating for me. And it's the sound font that they use.
Yeah.
It's the synth that they use in that intro. Like just I want to skip it. So
I literally, my only note for the Gen 2 trainer music is very 8-bit, stop yelling at me. Like it's to the point where I can't listen to it.
Yeah.
I need to rather turn my audio off for the first 5 seconds,
Sure.
or just if I'm listening to it on loop, skip the first 5 seconds, which is
Yeah.
damning.
Is
Yeah.
that
Especially when
Gen
I
2 at the bottom?
consider. I think so. It's on the bottom of mine because I think when I look at every other generation, and I was going to bring this up a little later, but I think it's appropriate to bring it up now. This might be the wrestling nerd in me, and Tin Hat will know what I mean here. The songs need a good stinger. I need to get into it right off the bat.
Sure.
Like,
Sure.
you know when Rapano hits, John Cena's coming out. You know that that's happening, and you
I actually
when
believe
you
that
hear
every trainer battle starts with them going.
yeah,
Yeah.
like so if that's bad for me, it ruins the whole thing.
Sure.
So if
That's fair.
when I go onto the Gen 2 and it's literally it feels like it's yelling at me, that's bottom for me.
Yeah.
Sure. Gen
know-
4 is my preferred last place.
Mm.
I think for the reason of like it's aggressive. It's not as aggressively there is what I was going to say
Sure.
about it. Like it
Mm.
exists to fill a void. And I don't think it's bad. Like you're saying, it's
Yeah.
not bad, but there are at least aspects of the Gen 2 theme that I can go like, oh hell yeah about. I get why the intro to it would be like not ideal.
So,
Sure.
so Zitro, my
Yeah.
bottom two are 2 and 4, and the reason
Yeah.
I wound up putting 4 over 2 is because I think that GSC to Heart Gold, Soul Silver has like the biggest jump in generational disparity.
The
I
Gen
agree.
2 theme in Heart Gold Soul Silver
So much
is
better than GSC.
so much better because it's not grating at the opening.
Yeah.
I would also say though the Gen 1 theme in Gold Silver Crystal when you're in Kanto is pretty good because it's like the Gen 1 trainer theme plus drums.
Yeah.
So that kind of
And
hits. I would
Going back to Gen
probably
3
yeah.
quickly.
Yeah.
I think Gen 3 makes the Gen 1 trainer theme worse in Fire Red Leaf Green.
Yeah,
I prefer
think
it
so
in
too.
the originals and in Gold Silver than I do in Fire Red and Leaf Green.
The instrumentation in Fire Red and Leaf Green for that theme is just weird.
Which brings
Yeah.
Gen 3 down for me from number 1, which is
That's
why I
fair.
have 7 in number
Sure.
1.
See, I was
and I have
considering it
2
in the
in Dead
context.
Last.
I was considering Gen 3 in the context of these like explicit Gen 3 games where the music is new in them.
Yeah.
I think that music is fantastic. But if we are roping it, and I think that was what we agreed upon before, if we're roping in Fire Red and Leaf Green, then I think we have to bring it down.
Yeah.
I think I'm okay with putting 2 last. Is that what people
I am
are feeling?
also okay putting 2 last.
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay.
I would probably go from the bottom up. I would probably go 2, 4, 6, 8.
I would flip. I wouldn't put 6 there. I think 8 is probably not that great.
8 is so weird. 8 is a Mario Kart 8 Deluxe song.
Yeah.
8 is a Mario Odyssey song.
Oh my god, I thought the same thing.
I wrote in my notes
Almost the
next to
exact
it.
same thought.
I wrote
Yeah,
Gen
I wrote
8 Mario.
Mario.
Yeah.
It's like it's a
All the
good
boing.
song. It's not a
Boingy.
good Pokemon song. It's so boingy.
Boing, boing, boing.
The hi-hat is so out of place. It does have it. This is one of those songs though that it has a section that is an orchestral version of Gen 1's theme.
Yeah.
And so that's cool, but it's a Mario song. Yeah, it just I could put 8 below 6. Those are both extremely mid for me.
Yeah. Again, I don't think any of these are necessarily bad except for Gen 2. I don't like listening to Gen 2.
Do we all agree
Sure.
that 4 is second to last?
Yeah.
I think that's a pretty
I'm
lock
fine
in.
with that.
I would
Okay.
lock it in.
So these, yeah, again, with the music, we're gonna say this a lot. It's all so good, but like 2, 4, 2, 4, 6, and 8 are the like, ones for me, and the rest are like the high tier, basically.
You've convinced
Like
me on
one,
6. Now that you've pointed out why 7's better, I think I agree. So.
7 just, and it's really just the trainer song. There's other songs where I'm like 6 hits. It's just the trainer song. It's not enough to keep me
6
engaged.
is gonna get so many points later on, at least if I have anything to say about it.
Sure.
Don't get me started on. Wait, is one of the categories I can't remember like a rival or not rival evil team themes?
No, that falls
Oh,
under
because
other.
team players
Other.
theme is so good.
That
Maybe next time.
we'll get into that. But so
I would put.
I still think first should be Gen 7.
I'm on board with it.
I could do Gen 7 first, but then I would have to be putting Gen 3 in fourth, so that Gen 5 would be in third.
I agree
because
with that.
I don't think that I think that Gen 5 is better than Gen 3. I personally enjoy Gen 5 more than Gen 7, but I recognize that is because of the instrumentation for
Mhm.
me. I think they are both extremely well written songs with the perfect amount of complexity, and I just am enjoying the like chiptune MIDI sound
Mhm.
more for a trainer battle than the like orchestrated sound. But I
Mhm.
think they're both bangers. So
I disagree on Gen 5, but I'm willing to put it in third because of the subway theme.
I think if Gen
Yeah,
7 goes
Subway theme's
first,
good.
I think Gen 5 has too much going for it to not be in third.
So what does that make it look like? 7, 1, 5, 3.
Yep.
7153, and then
6,
was
8.
it?
I would put 8 over 6, maybe. Wait, no, I
It's
still think 6 is
No.
better.
I
than
think
8.
I think
I-
6, 8, and then 4,
4
2.
2.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
That
fine
Okay.
sounds
with that.
right.
I'm happy with
That
that.
sounds objectively correct.
This
Okay.
is our first category.
Yes, it
First
is.
subcategory, Sam.
We
Oh
we've,
well, it's 7 bad.
we've been going for 50 minutes on that first category. Oh
I
boy.
think
Right,
I
you
think
There
this
might
sets
need to
the
be a part
scene.
3.
I think that
I'm
sets
fine
the
with that.
scene for like being able to talk about other generations easier, though, because I think there's
Yeah.
a lot of just general explanation on what
Definitely.
generation sounds.
I have to use the bathroom real quick. I'll be right
Yes,
back.
go ahead
I
while
believe
I
you.
make sure I do this correctly. 6, get 4 points, and then, okay. So, with that we have Gen 7, Gen 1, Gen 5, Gen 3, Gen 6, Gen 8, Gen 4, Gen 2.
Yep,
I think that is the right order.
that seems good.
What do you got there,
Wow.
Vanna? You
You're
are
muted, bud.
muted.
I sat down and muted myself. Apparently,
Yeah.
I didn't mute myself when I stood up. So I sat down, I was like, unmute, and nope, just kidding. We have Allagash Haunted House Hoppy Dark Ale.
Hoppy Dark. Interesting.
I mean, I'm very curious to try this because I like darks and I like hops. I don't know if I like them together, so we'll see.
Maybe.
What don't you like?
Well, speaking of hops,
Yeah,
I
I
was
heard.
has returned.
I don't like hops.
I hate
oh, hey,
hops.
Sam. Of course.
But I love hops.
First name Hops, last name Ith. Hopsmith joins us.
With the returning Hopsmith, I think it is time to get on to rival theme,
Yeah.
where I have a lot of notes.
I have
I have
Hey,
the
so many
second
thoughts.
most
hey.
notes.
Do we count N as a rival?
That's
is-
gonna come up.
This is important.
His music.
Because N's not a champion.
His music was in the rival playlist. His music
Yeah.
was in the champions playlist.
But
I-
he's neither.
He has to be.
He's a
He's
villain.
both. That's the
He's the
thing,
villain.
Tinhead. He's the villain, the rival, and the champion. That's what makes him so fun.
But there are games where you have like 3 rivals. You have all these rivals, and this,
Yep.
I count N as a rival, if not a rival adjacent character.
I have to be able to talk about his music at some point. So
Yeah.
No, we
Yeah.
obviously will be talking about N's music. It is just when. So
yeah,
we have 3 categories that N could fall into:
Yep.
rival, champion, or other.
oh,
I would like to immediately eliminate champion because
Yep.
he, very technically speaking, is never a champion of a region ever.
sure,
He is the final boss, but he is not a legal champion.
that's fine with me.
Yep.
Other, so I mentioned this before stream, but
Mm.
so for the other category, I listened to every Elite Four theme, every Legendary theme, every main menu theme, every surfing theme, every Poke Center theme, and every gym leader theme.
Mm.
So I'm gonna have a lot of thoughts for other.
Yeah. So
Other
maybe,
might be an entire stream.
maybe we include N in rivals, which is going to drastically change my list.
Oh yeah.
Can we just I just want to hear what everyone's favorite is.
Well,
Mine
you gotta decide if N's allowed.
not including N, I have Gen 6 as my number
Okay.
one.
Mine is Gen 8. Mine is Gen 8 because the sheer bopitude of all three rivals is insane. The quality across the board for Gen 8 is too good for me. Marnie's theme, Pop's theme, Bede's theme. Then you also get like the bonus of Clara and Alistair, or not Alistair, Clara and what's his face? The one
He,
Top
he
hat
doesn't
guy?
count. He's not as good.
Yeah, because everyone wants Monster Energy Girl Clara. So.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's really tough.
But
It-
I tell you right now, if we're including N's theme, on my list, 5th gen is second to last.
If you have
If
N
we are
and
including
Q,
N's theme, it drastic go up. To quote Scott Steiner.
sure.
It drastic go up.
I think that, man, it's tough. I think that Sharon and Bianca's theme is not good. I
Dog
think
shit.
that Hugh's theme is good, and I think that N's theme is top 5 Pokemon songs.
I agree.
Yeah.
Especially the second iteration of N's theme. But if
Both
we're
of them.
not, it's so tough because like the Gen 6 theme for your friends
Mhm.
in Gen 6 is fine. It's
Mhm.
good. Wally's theme in Gen 6
That is why I have Gen 6 number 1.
a fucking Power Rangers
So
training
good.
montage.
It's
It is Tommy lifting weights at the gym. It's so good. But there's other stuff like that too. Gen 7. House theme, not so good. Gladion's theme, one of the coolest people alive. Like,
even so good.
yeah, it
But
is an
now-
anime opening. Like,
this is good. Should one generation that has a good theme, one really good theme, for example, Silver, in my opinion, does that trump, if we're including Gen 5, if we're including N, does that trump in my opinion, dog shit theme with Sharon and Bianca and N?
sure.
Mhm.
If
Does the bad theme drag the good theme down, or do they
So
equal?
I think that Gen 8 doesn't have any misses in it. So
I
like
agree.
not to answer your question because I do think there's merit to that, but I think I'll answer that by saying that Gen 8 is really solid and everywhere, and while it doesn't have like N's theme and Wally's theme are probably the two best themes in this entire spectrum. 8 has only great songs,
Sure.
and then a lot of other generations have something you deal with at the time, and then you get a crazy theme later. I think you need to take them together.
I would argue that Marnie's theme is maybe the best single right.
Marnie's
theme
theme is
is
really
Marnie's
good.
theme.
Marty's theme is. I can never say his name right, but Bede's theme, Bed, however you say it,
Yeah,
I
Bede,
just
think
wrote.
that's-
I just wrote next to it. This song just slaps. Like
It's
it's
really
just.
good.
They're all so good.
Yeah.
I am fully on board, and I also wrote next to all of them. I'm like, it fits with their characters.
Mhm.
Yes.
Like-
Oh my god. So this is why I wanted to bring up context. Because I also think Gladion's theme goes up so much more when you realize it starts when he goes like
Yeah,
That,
at the
yeah.
start of the battle. Because
Yep.
that's
it's
so
much
accurate. By the
better.
way, Tin Hat, that's terrifying. How accurate that was.
I think
I played a lot of Sun Moon.
we need
I think we
Gladion
need to-
cosplay in the near
I would-
future.
Oh my god. I would
That'd be
love-
great.
I'm already
That'd be
gonna
you
buy
look.
hoodies.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
halfway there
I love
now.
the blonde hair. I'm like halfway there.
Tin Hat. Tin
That'd be
Hat.
so good.
That'll be my second Gen 7 cosplay because I've already got Guzman.
Double or nothing.
Heck
Right.
yeah.
Tin Hat.
We have to decide. I can't continue with the hypothetical.
Yeah.
We have to decide if N is
Put
a
N in
rival.
there.
My vote is
Okay.
N is a rival.
And
Okay.
rival.
I'll-
Then I recognizing that Sharon and Bianca's theme is low tier.
Mhm.
I would put Hugh's theme above mid, but not. I would put N's theme as again, in the top 5 songs from Pokemon ever.
Mhm.
It's really good. It's really interesting. But the thing that sells it for me is and I did not look up, I intentionally did not look up who composed these, because Junichi Masuda composed a lot of the early stuff
Yeah.
and nothing for Gen 8, and he's
Mhm.
like going back to composing, and his influence and like the motifs that he uses are awesome. For example, Ghetsis' name is based on a musical concept
Yep.
of tritones being
Mhm.
like the devil's tone, and so Ge is like I don't know, Italian. I can't remember exactly, but it's like 2 music notes put together as Ghetsis. N's theme is all about prime numbers,
Yeah.
and the like ascending and descending scales that are happening in N's theme are, if you take the white keys on a keyboard as numbers with middle C, I think it is, as 1,
It is.
it's the primes up and down.
That's
And
wild.
so that
Yeah.
just like sends it to the next level for me. That it sounds super good, and then his name is N, like, you know, a variable, and there's that really cool prime number motif in his song, because he's also like a math genius character wise.
Yeah.
So I could be good with 8 as first, because
I think it has to be, just because all 3 of them are
I-
good, and especially if we're comparing it against Gen 5, which
sure.
also has 3 themes,
Hmm.
where I think that you pick any of the Gen 8 themes, and for me, they're beating Charon and Bianca and Hugh's themes.
And Hugh. Yeah, that makes sense.
Ice, can I drop a link in your chat?
Yes, you can.
There's a
well,
dude who
yes.
animated all of the rival
Don't know if
themes
it
from
will
Gen 8, and it's just called Bopping 2 Blank's theme. And it's
Nice.
all of the other rivals like jamming to the other rivals' themes, and they're all
Nice. I only listened to Hop's theme from Gen 8. I did not.
which
I
is
should have
great.
listened to the other ones.
The
Hops is
guitar in
yeah.
Hop is great.
I
I
mean,
thought it was
but-
good. I thought it was really good. So if you
They all
guys are
fit.
saying the other ones are really good too, to the same tier as like Hops, and into that tier of like Wally and the guy from Gen 7, Gladion,
Yep.
then
I
I'm
would
like,
give- I
then
would give
yeah,
it
I think it's
praise.
an easy.
It's the best
I-
single rival theme to me.
I would probably go then, if 8's number 1, then I would go 5 because of N's theme, and then probably 6 because
Wally.
Wally's theme, and the theme from X and Y is good, like is still good to me. And then I would do 7 because of Gladion's theme, and those are kind of the generations that are getting carried by like a single banger, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
I do just want to say quickly, are we locking in Gen 8 as number 1? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I just want to quickly point out my notes for Gen 8, because I just reread them and I thought it was funny.
Hell yeah.
I wrote next to all of them, I'm like, it just fits. Pop, cheery, with the electric guitar. Then I wrote Marnie is just Nate wants to battle vibe, which
Yep.
I think is so accurate for her character. And then I just did Bede's theme just slaps.
Mhm.
Like they're just such good themes.
Hell yeah.
And I personally would put Wally's guitar theme above N's theme,
Wow.
but I am okay either way. It is so close. It is 1A and 1B for me.
Sure. Here, the reason I put N's theme above Wally's theme is because N's theme is an extremely good song that fits the character,
Mm-hmm.
and Wally's theme is so cool, and I doesn't make me think of Wally at all.
I will say
You're,
this.
you're so right.
I'm on YouTube and I keep bouncing back and forth between things. And I just pulled up Wally's theme. And just
Yes.
It's
He's
so
never
good.
that cool.
So
though.
It's so
good.
good.
It's really good.
So
And
good.
you're right.
But I
Wally's
Especially
not
do
if
that
we're looking
agree.
at the same YouTube like thumbnail for what it is, and it's just like this shy Wally guy. And then
Yeah.
you hear this crazy sound. It's so good.
I
It's-
do
You're right. Like
agree
contextually,
with
it doesn't fit as well.
Sam. It doesn't. It would fit better for N or Silver or Blue or
Right.
almost anybody else.
Some composer woke up, like, drank 3 Red Bulls, and then was like, "Who do I have to compose to today? Oh no!"
Listen,
Oh.
nobody cared about him the rest of this game. We need them to care right now.
Oh yeah.
I remember, and I know we said we weren't taking this into account, so this should probably mean that I put N above it. I just remember playing Oras, walking up to Wally with the sound blaring in my old house's bedroom, and it just going, and I'm like,
Yeah.
what?
So,
I put
again,
my DS down and had to go get fresh
Yeah.
air. I was like,
Had
what?
to touch grass.
I know Wally's not cool, but there is that moment, again, for talking context,
Ugh.
where he grabs his pendant. And it's really cool because the first
Sure.
time you see him like
Yes.
super own who he is. And then this first time you see Mega Gallade. That's the
Sure.
battle you first fight Mega Gallade. And oh
But-
my god. Wait, is Wally cool after all? I don't
No.
know. I think the theme just makes me
No.
think Wally's cool.
Right. I guess. Yeah.
You know what, though? Sam, you convinced me with that argument. I do think that because the theme does not fit the character, I think that N should, because N's theme fits him
Yeah.
to a T.
And I'd be interested to get your guys' take then on if Gladian's theme, fitting Gladian, puts 7 above 6. Because it's very close to as cool as Wally's theme. It is not quite as good, but it is, again, just a better fit.
My argument for why it shouldn't is I am then
Oh.
at that point comparing the Gen 6 trainer theme to How's bullshit.
Sure. House
So-
theme is worse. House theme is worse than the Gen 6 all your friends theme.
Yes. So I think because of that, Gen
Sure.
6 should go above Gen 7.
I'm cool
But
with
the bass, the
It is a
flapping
really
ass
good song.
bass.
It's really good. It's
It's
really
a
good.
really good song, but
We've
I
got
think
3
when they're
bangers in a
pretty
row.
equal, you need to look at the other elements involved.
Sure.
Whereas with the
You can
previous
still
argument,
cosplay as Gladian.
we're gonna talk about that today. We're gonna have words about that. I think that because of that, I think 6 should be above 7, but I think 7 needs to be in 4th.
That's fair. Yeah, I would agree with that.
House theme is just a grown man yelling Malasada for 7 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
What did I write about? Oh, about house theme. I wrote wah guitar because of the like wah pedal that keeps happening. Nice drums, but weird horn melody.
I wrote.
Occasional PBS show vibes.
Oh, you see,
Bubbly and bells.
I got a similar vibe. I wrote horny curvy. that's literally like I just wrote.
Yep.
It's
Cool
just-
Guy Rival. Cool Guy Rival has a much better theme. Very anime OP, straight up bop.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That
So
horn
I
is
think
terrible.
I think it
in
should
House
go
theme.
8, 5, 6, 7.
I would agree.
I'm good with that.
I forgot to mention for Gen 6, one thing that I liked about the X and Y rival theme is it's got, again, this could be an actual recording, it could be a facsimile of it, but it's got a palm muted electric guitar, this like chung, 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 chung sound that's really nice. I did also note that the breakdown is overly horned, but I still think it's a good song.
I would like to next throw my hat in the ring for Gen 2. Silver's
All I-
theme.
The only thing I want to say about Gen 6 is
Yep.
I appreciate that they differentiated Caleb Serena's theme from Tierno, Trevor,
Yep.
Shauna's. Like
I agree.
they changed it between like all right, here are your fun rivals. Here's the person who wants to unseat you.
Yeah.
I think that's fun. I think it's a really cool. They're subtle, but it is there.
It is a difference, which I appreciate. I think the intro of Silver's theme, going back to how important the intro is for me,
Sure.
Yeah.
it's iconic. It's so good, and it just took Blue's theme, and it elevated it. It did the opposite of what Gen 2's Trainer Battle theme did, in my opinion. It
Sure.
took what Gen 1 had and actually made it better.
I gotta
I
pull
don't
it up
like Gen
real quick.
2s very much.
I thought Gen.
So what
I don't
when we're
like very
talking
much.
about like, so my notes were 3 is better than 2 is better than 1, as I was listening to them in order. But I could elevate 2 in that because Silver is the last of my ideal rival archetype where he actually hates your guts. From the very first note of Gen 2, you hear the music and you know that guy doesn't like you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And the song
you
is
do get
built
that.
around being like not just rival, but just like kind of like, this guy sucks. I really want to beat him, and this music is making me like maybe angry. Like it's put me in the zone to want to win this fight.
I think that Gen
I just
2's
heard it playing
rival theme.
somebody's headphones.
Yeah, sorry, I pulled it up. I wanted to refresh myself because if I'm gonna make this
No,
make
I'm
this I'll
glad.
make the argument and then I'll refresh myself. But
I'm glad because
I
I can't listen to it because we'll get hit.
oh sure, I think Gen 2's rival theme is what Gen 2's regular trainer battle theme should have been.
Sure.
It's tough because I think 1, 2, and 3 are all still good. Like it's hard to put them low like this because they're all still good. But I think that I do like Gen 1's better than Gen 2's. And it's because of the part of this may be the simplicity of Gen 1, the limitations that they had, both in terms of space and complexity of the song. But Gen 1's rival theme builds on the regular trainer theme, and Gen 1's champion theme builds on the rival theme, which is like like a stepping stone style escalation of stakes that I really like. There's almost like a siren quality to some phrases in Gen 1's rival theme that I won't get into the champion stuff now, but that gets taken to the next level in the champions theme. So it's tough because Gen 2's rival theme is good, but I just felt like it. I don't know. I think that the fact that your rival is your champion in Gen 1, and there is that progression, makes the theme a little bit more meaningful to me. Whereas like Silver's theme, it's just you just get that one version of it. So
The only
I'm
thing
kind of
the
yeah.
only
Go
thing
ahead.
I want to throw in there is I'm listening to both of these back and forth. Is Blue's theme not just the normal trainer theme?
I thought it had.
I can't hear
It's
it.
very.
I think it's the
very
same
similar.
song. I think they change it not in Gen 1, but in like
is that what it
different
is?
versions of it.
Is it
when
Gen
it is re-released?
2 when he's a gym leader? Is his theme different? Is that what I'm thinking of?
I don't hear it different.
No.
I think he just has gym leader music.
Okay, I guess some of this is
because I know
more
his
in
champion theme is different.
Yes.
So then I think that automatically puts him last.
Okay, I could be
I
okay
would
with
put him
that.
at anyway.
I have other times. Yeah, Blue having champion theme.
I had him
really
last
muddies
on
it
my
for me.
list.
I
had
think
Blue last.
I could do last there because his champion theme will come up later and is different.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would put 3 above 2 though. Still, I thought that.
Are we putting
hang
4
on,
second to last then?
I would.
Yeah, I wrote weak sauce intro, bouncy in a bad way, leads into a standard battle theme. Nice claps, Lamau.
You described Barry. You just described Barry.
I was gonna say though,
Weak intro.
that's like not the weak intro part, but in its defense, it fits Barry really well.
Yeah, but
I
Barry
don't know
blows.
if that's an argument.
There's
to make.
parts in it where it's like And it's just
Yeah.
like, what the is this?
Oh,
It's I
you
think
see,
maybe 4's last.
You'll hear when we get on to the champion themes. I like clapping in my
Oh
in my
yeah.
music.
I think it's fine in other places, but I don't think it works here because it's
I
like
don't think it
one
works
clap
here.
and then like two
Yeah.
others.
And
Yeah.
if you're talking about bad stereo, Barry's theme has really bad
Barry's theme's
stereo.
bad.
It's like
Yeah.
hi-hat, or it's like crash, and it's like I don't need that in two.
It doesn't make sense. So I am
Sure.
fine putting Gen 4 second to last.
Yeah.
I think
Again.
that completes the list.
Oh sure. Yeah, that works for me.
So then we're doing 2 or 3 above 2.
Oh, I think so. Easy.
I think so too.
Okay, I'll take the L on
It
that one.
has a call and response section that I actually like, which similar to the panning effect that we get in a lot of these songs is like rare. That I think that the call and response is effectively done.
Yeah.
There's also a great YouTube video of like somebody who did the rival theme from Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald, but like had all the Pokemon holding instruments and just like dragging them across the screen. It's a very good video.
The tone, and I don't just mean like the tones, but like the vibe of the Gen 3 rival theme has such a big impact on me thinking that they're very nice and a huge departure from Blue and Silver. Because the Gen 3 rival theme is like horns and then everything's super good. We're having a fun battle. Like
Yeah.
it's part of what I like the theme. I think that they're bad rivals, but because of it.
Yeah, I think they did that because it was the first Pokemon game where they're like, "Hey, the world's ending," and
Yeah,
like
that's fair.
you just get to grow up with a friend that's cool.
Right.
I know we're not talking about Let's Go Eevee, Pikachu, but that
that
redo
remix is good.
Of
It is.
Gen 1 is really good, and I think would
Would
elevate its
boost
generation.
Gen 7 even higher above first place.
Yeah.
Now the next category that we have.
Can you go through the order for
Yes.
the rivals? I can't remember what they ended up being.
First place we have Gen. Oh, never mind. I thought Gen 7
Gen
was
8.
in first place. Yeah, no.
Gen
Gen 8
8.
is in first. Then Gen 5, then 6, then 7, then 3, then 2, then 4, and then last is Gen 1.
I still think that Gladian deserves third, but that's
How
Unfortunately, drags
how
it down.
drags
I know,
Gladian
I
down.
understand, but if
I
we ignore,
get that
if we
Gladian
ignore
deserves
how existing,
No,
Right.
we're asking you how. This next category, I think I'm going to take a back seat on this one because I don't have too much of an opinion on this one. But this is wild Pokemon music.
I'm glad we have a break before champions because I'm gonna get
Champions,
fucking intense in champions.
I am saving for last before miscellaneous others.
Yeah.
I feel like it might just be me. I don't super care. I mean, I care, but at the same time, I feel like they're all kind of just mid for me.
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Can I say one thing
I didn't
about
even rank them on my sheet of paper because it's just. But yeah, go ahead, Tin Hat.
For me, Wild Battle theme is like one of the few ways I think GSC did a better job than
Yes.
RBY.
I would probably put second gen in first place.
I think I still like
Gen 2 gets its
RSE.
first place.
Is that true?
Yes.
Oof.
I still think I like RSE and probably
RSC?
RSE.
RSE.
Oh, E. Okay, yeah.
And maybe Gen 7 over 2. But I do
Ultra
really
Sun,
like
Ultra
2.
Moon's cool.
I love Ultra Sun, Ultra Moons.
2 wins for me because it has a really good wild battle theme, and then a really good wild battle theme at night, and then an upgraded Kanto wild battle theme.
Yeah.
I hadn't thought about the difference in day night.
Yep.
Yeah, give it to 2. Let's let 2 win.
2 gets a win. 2 is going. This is going to be
as a treat.
I'm going to bet everybody here right now. This is going to be the only category that Gen 2 wins
Yeah.
of this entire thing, which breaks my freaking heart.
because you are part of the judging of it, I think it's illegal to bet on that.
Oh, it totally is. It 100% is. I am 25% of the vote. But
people have to listen to the Gen 2 Kanto Wild Battle
Yes.
theme.
Really
It's
cool.
so good. It is the red and blue Kanto Battle theme plus drums plus more rests, and it makes it jarring and like it's not quite what you expect. Oh, I really like it.
So that's why I think RSE slash Leaf Green
Yeah.
Fire Red is high, because the way that it takes cantos is so much better.
Yeah.
Like the new instrumentation on Leaf Green Fire Red is so
Oh yeah, and there's these like detuned notes too.
Yes.
There's these slides in Fire Red Leaf Greens. I would probably put third. I have a
was
lot
gonna
of
say
positive
third
notes
gen.
for third
I
gen.
think should be second.
Yeah,
I still think Ultra Sun Ultra Moon's Wild is like one of the single best though.
I would put. I would probably. I know we're going pretty quick, and I don't want to step on
Hey,
anybody.
that's
I
fine.
really
We've
do
got a lot
like.
of categories.
I really do like Gen 7. I think that Ultra Sun and Ultra Moons is good. I don't think that it carries Sun and Moons beyond Gen 3. I think that Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon is an excellent upgrade over Sun and Moon. I don't think Sun and Moon's bad. I think it's mid. But I think that Ruby Sapphire killed it right away. Fire Red and Leaf Green is a great, like an actually good remix of Red and Blues. So
You won't hear me complaining that Gen 3 gets number 2. I will accept it.
What do you think,
We're already
Jeffrey?
kind of like decided on this, but I don't think that Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon's theme is better than anything in Gen 2 or Gen 3.
Yeah.
Like
I agree.
I think it is good, but I don't think it's better than anything else that I think should be ranked higher. And then if
Harmony.
it has normal Sun and Moon that is worse than that,
Yeah.
it can't be that high.
Was
So
there anything? I don't think there's a single one that I dislike.
No, I think they're all really good. I think a
Yeah.
lot of them have a lot that they take from the original one. Which is
Yes.
one thing that like not the one thing, but like it is a good song. Red, Blue, and Yellow set the tone for what this style of music was going to be forever. I don't know if it gets points
Yeah.
for that.
I
would
think it
maybe
should.
I would maybe put it next. After.
I think it should go
Really?
after Sun and Moon.
I would
Yeah.
rather.
No. I would put it after.
Oh,
Sun
did
and
we
Moon.
already
meant,
agree
like,
that Sun and Moon is third? Did I miss out the
I'm
vote
cool.
on that?
I'm cool with that. I think that Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon is the last like standout. I think that the rest of the wild themes are like good, but I'm probably not gonna like go out of my way to listen to them like Wally's theme.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're saying for this
Two,
we are
three,
saying
7.
2, 3, 7, 1.
Well,
So
one I think is not decided on.
Okay, so 2, 3, 7 to start.
I'm not a big fan of putting one that high. It's a great theme. I think almost every other version improves on it, which says something about it. One.
Sure.
Yeah.
In that, like, XY, again, if we're talking about intros, Ice, I know how much you love intros. The piano slide at the beginning of XY is so good.
Yes. I
The
have that.
the drum fill for Sword Shield is so good. Like, again, Pokemon battles last 12 seconds.
Right.
So most of what you hear is the burnt, 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 and then over, and that's all you
Sure.
get. And I think that that's why the beginning is so important to me. And I think Sword Shield and XY have really, really strong intros.
I think that for Gen 6, I wrote synth plus xylophone intro and then a bunch of question marks. I
It's
thought
so
it was
good.
oh,
It's so good.
I think it's a
I
little
like
strange.
it too.
I think it's
like
fine.
It too. I think it's fun.
I said that the X and Y theme feels like an unlicensed version of a Pokemon battle theme.
Maybe that's why I
it's-
like it. I played too many ROM hacks.
It's funny that you say that because X and Y's theme, once you get past the like all that stuff, it's just kind of like an inverted original
Yeah.
one, where instead
Yeah.
of going up and then down, it goes down and then up.
It does this thing that so many like free versions of songs do, where it's got like 4 of the same notes and then it does something else.
Yeah.
Like
It's the Vanilla Ice meme.
it just doesn't. Yeah, right. It is.
But
It doesn't.
Gen 6 also has the Oros remix in it, which is
Oh,
also
that's right.
baller.
Mm.
Oros is baller.
I still think that Gen 1 should be next. Just for setting the precedent of what it would become.
The
Is it
arpeggios
better
in Gen
music?
1, I think the arpeggios in Gen 1, if I do like it a lot. You know, it's not as complex. It doesn't have as many instruments due to the limitation of the time, but that theme is so memorable. I don't know. There's a lot of the others. Again, this is something where I like 4, I like 5, I like 6, I like 8, but I think that 1 is more important to me than those ones.
Mhm.
I'll say this. I think Black 2, White 2 actually brings down Gen 5 for me.
I was gonna
Really?
say that next.
It's the only wild battle theme I think is annoying.
Oh,
I
I
think-
like it.
I don't
I
like it as
agree.
much as Black and White.
I think
I,
that
I like the double notes.
I think Gen 5 should be last, personally.
Wow.
But
I still think I'd still put 1 last because I think that I would rather listen to every other version. But my next last would be 5.
I like
I-
Black
I-
White too. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I think Gen 1 should be higher. And I think it might be next because if we're talking about contextually what a wild battle feels like, Gen 1 feels more like it plays off the idea that it's kind of dangerous to run into wild Pokemon. Like it feels a little not necessarily edgy, but it just kind of feels like even though it's going to be like a relatively easy battle, it still feels like something that like I am dealing with a wild animal that like is here to hurt me. Like it came up to me because I'm in its space and I need to make sure that we take like care here and we don't like mess around too much. In a way that I think a lot of the later themes are just kind of like we're having a fun time training Pokemon, and I also think that's fun and great. But I think they're really playing off that original counter of like, hey, don't go in that grass.
yeah,
Like there's stuff in there.
I agree with all that.
I agree. I would put 1 next. And I'm fine with 5 last. I really think all of these are good. I like Black and White 2 more than Black and White. I like the double notes that it keeps dropping in there, and it's really funky. A lot of Black and White 2 music is funky, and I I get down with that. But one thing I want to throw out there, I don't think this is better than 1. But as we get into this lower half, I do want to say I think 4 is really good. I think that Gen 4 has perhaps the same way that 4 had like a trainer battle theme that was like just a trainer battle theme, but in a bad way then. It has a very like wild battle theme this time. It feels like a new take, but a very faithful take of the Gen 1 theme. And it also has Heart Gold and Soul Silver's versions of Gen 2. So
I think it should go 1-4 as my next 2 in line. I think it should go 1-4. And then I do think 5 should be last, but we can get to that. Do
I
we
think
all
8 might be last for me.
really,
And I again like I like all of these. I don't dislike any of these songs, but I
Yeah.
think 8 might be last.
what is 8's again?
I think
do-
that's the problem. And I know that you didn't
Yeah.
play a lot of the game itself, but
Sure.
I think it gets lost.
just
8 has a
before
lot of
we
great
head
music,
on
but I
to
don't think it's one
last,
of them.
can we agree that, or at least a majority, sorry, Tin Hat, that Gen 1 should be next?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I'm good with that.
Okay.
I'm fine putting 8 second to last. I just think that 6 should be higher than I think where other people do. I like 6 more than 4, personally. I really like X and the Oros remixes. That's the thing, is like the Oros remixes are fantastic, and I do think that XY's is really fun. And
I
like,
can
that's the
go
thing.
either way with that. I'm fine putting 4 or 6 above the other.
I think I'm on team 6 above 4.
6 above 4. Here's the thing. Either of these, I do want to say, we're setting a precedent about, and we did this with Gen 3 and Gen 2 having the like Kanto one. We're setting a precedent that like having a lot of remixes of previous generations is a very good thing, which is a precedent I fully agree with.
Mhm.
And it's going to become extremely important.
Oh,
I was
I
gonna say,
already know what you're implying.
almost worry about the remixes giving generations too much credit for like their actual base games that came
But they
out.
are what I want to listen to.
That's the thing. Yeah,
So
I'm okay with them being
I-
important in this.
as long as one's above them, I could do 4 and 6 next
I
in
think-
either order.
Because like mechanics is a topic later, right? Because we're gonna do this again with mechanics.
Yes.
Sorry, Gen
Where,
2,
like-
you're getting dunked on.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think
Yes,
it's the thing, it's like
mechanics-
Gen 1 and Gen 2 are
Mechanics
gonna
is
get
going to
dunked
be a
on from.
very interesting conversation, but yes, it is going to be a topic later on.
Because this is another case where like I love RSE. RSE
Mhm.
is my favorite 3 games. I will replay them endlessly. I still think that there's mechanical improvements that come in Gen 6,
Sure.
Mhm.
right? Like, and even though it's like, well, those are Gen 3 games, they use the mechanics of Gen 6. I think it's the same with
I will
music. Is like,
say,
the
I
Gen
have a
3s,
very
they use
specific set of
mechanics.
rules that are going to be different for the mechanics
Right.
category than every other category that I've kind of already written out, because you
That's
have
fair.
to look at it in a very specific way.
My
Because they
point is
build on each
being-
other.
Yeah.
My point is being that we can't penalize the generation for doing remixes because they have the opportunity to do it.
Yep.
Just like we can't penalize the generation for having a certain mechanic because it was finally available to them. You know what I mean?
I agree.
So are we I know we voted. Are we saying 1 is next and then
One
we're
is
talking
next,
about
and then
4 and
we're
6?
talking about 4 and 6. I can really go either way.
They're so tied.
They're very
I'm-
close.
I'm leaning maybe a little bit more towards 6 now, but I could really go either way.
I think I prefer 4 to 6. I prefer Diamond Pearl Platinum to X and Y,
Mhm.
and I prefer Heart Gold Soul Silver to ORAS.
Oh, you see,
So
I
I would
think
go-
that's for me. I prefer um I prefer Diamond and Pearl to X and Y,
Mm.
but I prefer Oras to Heart Gold Soul Silver, and so
Sure.
then I compare Oras and Diamond Pearl Platinum, and I think Oras just barely beats it. So my vote,
For
I
me-
think, has got to be Gen 6.
6. It comes down to instrumentation for me again, and I guess I'm wrongly considering Gen 3 here, but Wally's theme notwithstanding, I like the synth horns more than the recorded horns in RAS. So I actually prefer a lot of the RSE mixes of those songs.
Yeah.
So I'm just thinking of what I would listen to. I would listen to Heart Gold Soul Silver soundtrack before I would listen to RAS's soundtrack. I don't know. I
So-
could go either way. They're so close. I'm not going to get upset either way.
But you're leaning 4, right?
I'm leaning 4.
I'll say this: I don't think
Yeah.
4 or 6 is gonna. I don't think it's gonna be the deal maker
No.
for
No.
either generation winning this.
Ken Hat, are you leaning 4 or 6 here?
I lean 6.
And Zitro, you also lean 6, correct?
Yeah, I'm
All
6
right.
leaning. For
So
sure.
I think 6 is going to take it, and then
Cool.
4 next.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then 8. Then 8. 5.
8, 5?
Where's
Or
7?
5, 8? 7
7, I think
is
we put-
third.
For Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon.
Okay, cool.
Mhm.
That's right.
So we only have 5 and 8 left. I would put 5 last.
Mhm.
But again, it's the difference of who gets
I-
1 point and who gets 2, and I really don't
Right.
care.
I would
So-
put 8 last. I still really like 8, but 5 has a fine wild theme. I do like Black and White 2's funkier mix of it, and it has a rare theme, which is really cool. It has a rare encounter theme for like when you get that 1% Pokemon in a patch, and I like the rare theme. It's got a bunch of like, whoa, weird stuff happening. You
I
ran
didn't even
into an
listen to the rare
Autonail.
theme.
So I understand this. I understand they have it.
Yeah.
Never once in my entire time playing these games have I ever been like, "Oh, I got the rare theme." And I think that matters. I think just having a different song that you can't tell is different actually doesn't help your case.
Oh,
I
think
think they're
that if
very
you-
different though.
if you played it, again, you would absolutely notice it.
I
It's
played
as
white like a few weeks ago.
it's well, maybe you didn't run into any rare Pokemon. They are rare, but like
Maybe you're just not good, Tin Hat.
Yeah, I'm
it's
the idiot here.
noticeably it's noticeably different. They're all so similar, and I guess I'm also kind of in the position where like I'm kind of putting 3 pretty good songs above 1 pretty good song, but because I like the 5 themes, so.
So I like probably all these themes. I don't think Sword and Shield has enough for me. I think they have very, very good music across the board in a lot of categories. I don't think this is one where they excel in.
I'll give 5 the edge just because even though I don't like it, like it's probably my least favorite one. At least I remember Gen 5's B2 W2. I don't
Okay.
like that song. I don't like it, but I'll always remember it as being the one with the double stops.
Double stops, hell yeah.
So 5
It's
and then
got
8.
the two note hit 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 hit
Yeah.
hit. And
Yeah,
that's kind of
I
cool.
like
I
that.
would also really like to see the sheet music for it because it sounds, and I think it's just the way it sounds, but it sounds like there's a bar of 3/4 into a bar of 4/4 in the
4/4.
intro,
Mm-hmm.
which is really interesting. That's some blondie ass shit that I'm so into.
Yeah. They're all good. We're down in the weeds.
Yeah,
of
I'm fine with
Embarrassing
I
eight
think
rankings.
last.
5
I'm
8
fine with eight last.
is
Fine.
the consensus here.
I'll go with that.
Yep.
Now,
I have to get some sauce before we do
Yep,
champions for
go
my
ahead,
mac and cheese.
'cause
Sorry, I keep leaving.
while you get the sauce, get ready to draw
To
blood.
get the sauce.
because-
Oh god, it's gonna be bad, dude.
Oh my god. I just turned on the Champions video again. The immediate difference in Blue's champion theme from his rival theme. Why did they think it was acceptable to use the rival theme when they had this in the locker?
I kind
Yeah.
of want to save the champion theme discussion for last. I kind of want to do the other theme
Oh,
next
it's so good. Holy
because
hell.
I think the champion theme is going to be the most wild conversation.
Oh yeah, it's the one I took the most notes on for sure.
Yeah,
I forgot
same
what
thing.
a freaking banger Gen 1's is.
It's yeah. I mean, we'll get into this later, but I think that fight theme is almost like scary, in a way that I want my championship battle to feel very high stakes.
I think we're gonna talk
How's it
about
sound
other
in
next.
Fire Red?
I think
All right.
I think we're gonna do that next. I'm changing the order again. Like the
Oh,
fifth
it's
time.
also good in Fire Red Leaf Green, though. Oh my god, Fire Red Leaf Green's version of it makes me want to actually have an anxiety attack.
What's up?
All right, so we have decided to switch the order. We are now going to talk about other music first, since champion
Oh.
music just feels like it should be the main event.
Yeah, I think when
So-
we get to championship music, we should put that in chat so people can bop around.
I
But
agree.
We'll get there when we get there.
For how I want to do others, I am going to give you a list of some of my favorite other songs that I listen to out of a giant list of OST songs.
Hmm.
And we can kind of fly off of that. I listen to a lot of the stuff that Sam didn't listen to.
Sure.
So we were talking about this before stream. Sam listened to a lot of like bike music, surf music,
The stuff
things
that's
like that.
there's a version of it in
Yep.
every game.
Whereas I listen to more areas, towns, cities, routes type deal. So here's my list in no particular order. Mount
Wait,
Coronet.
alright. Can I just say?
Yes.
I don't know why I got dunked on, but I don't appreciate the chat says I got dunked on.
It was for
there's
the
nothing worse
Gen
than getting
5
dunked
not
on.
finding a rare Pokemon.
I was like, there's nothing worse than getting dunked on and not knowing why I got dunked on. Just wake up and I'm on Shackton the next morning. I'm like, I don't even remember.
Tin Hat was shacked in a fool for sure.
Oh yeah, that's it. All right, sorry, carry on.
Okay. Mount Coronet. Eterna Forest.
Ooh.
Ilex Forest. Pandegi. Here I am. Dunked.
What can I say? It me.
Mount Pyre. Lentimos Town. Undella Town. All 4 versions. Glittering Cave. And then in parentheses, I wrote Snow White on crack. Abandoned ship. Santaloon
Gen
Forest.
3's Gen 3's abandoned
Yes.
ship.
Gen 3's
Yeah.
abandoned ship.
Yeah.
Santaloon Forest. Sycamore's theme. Lumio City. Team Flare! Exclamation point. Village City. Anastar City. Zelda is knocking over something. Give me a moment.
Zelds.
She's knocking
Zelds.
over food. Village City. Anastar City. Welcome to Alola. That theme just hey yo da 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 hey
It's
yo.
so intense.
Kukui's theme. Iki Town Festival. Lush Jungle. And Lavender Town is what I have on my list.
This is a category where I almost don't care what the order is, and I don't. I feel kind of bad saying that, but I think that because every Pokemon game is going to have a lot of like, wow, that was a really cool song, in a way that I feel like there's merit to all of them, and I'm sure there are like ways that many of them can be improved anyway. So I don't have any like strong feelings.
I'll say so. Some of my favorite songs, some of my favorite tracks, just off the top of my head that like aren't somewhere else. Team Flare theme, I think is fantastic. Ultra Necrozma theme, incredible. Sky Pillar theme, I think one of the best tracks in all of Pokemon. I also don't know what it's called, but the one in Sun and Moon that's do 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 is so good.
Is
and
that
one of my
the
favorites.
is that the settlement underneath the
That might be
Mount
EQ,
Lanakila?
It's like it's just a theme it's reiterated on the entire game.
Oh, okay.
It's also really common if you listen to like remixes of Pokemon music. It's like one of the number one remix ones.
Gen 7 is my least knowledgeable in terms of music. When I think of Gen 7, the only song that I think of is "Hey Yo." Da 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 da.
Oh, you gotta here, Ice. I'm dropping this in the chat so you can listen to that. Well, you can't, but that
I'll listen to it on
Ultra
my
Necrozma
laptop. I'll mute myself.
Nice.
The Ultra
Carry
Necrozma
on.
theme is so good.
So I listen to, like I said earlier, I listen to the Elite Four songs, the legendary Pokemon songs, the main menu themes, surfing themes, Poke Center themes, gym leader themes. And like, if we're planning to finish this tonight, then I can like summarize a bit. But if we're going to have another session of this, I would nominate some of these categories for debate, because there's some of them, like the surfing themes, where they're pretty similar and pretty like not that important. But some of them, like the gym leader themes, and the main menu themes and the Elite Four themes, have some like important songs in them. And some of the legendary songs are pretty good. So I don't know, like I could go over some of my thoughts, but I could also save this.
I will leave that to the room. I don't want to tell you guys what all of the categories are yet.
Right.
But what I will tell you is, if we continue going at the pace we're going, which I like this pace, quite frankly.
Yeah.
We will need to have a part 3. Just plain and simple. And I am not against having a part 3. I would have rather have a part 3 and have the time to talk about it. I do not know what the court's schedule is going forward. But I am fine saying tonight we do music and maybe start another category. And we break up other, because I did originally have like 10 different categories in music. I had like bike, surf, gyms, Elite Four, all of that I did have, and I kind of condensed it to try to get us done tonight. I don't think that's gonna happen either way now, unless we rush, which I don't think this is something we should rush, because where's the fun in it? But I will leave it to the room.
Can I suggest one other theme or one other thing? And I was thinking this earlier today. I think that because there are so many categories of music, are we looking for total points and then assigning an overall music score to the games to be factored into the total ranking?
Good
Because
call.
like even right now we have a lot of Pokemon, like a lot of music subcategories. And if we break, I'm fine to break it down into like more because I think there's a lot more you can talk about in that.
Mhm.
But at a certain point, having the best soundtrack becomes the reason the game is better objectively, and there's almost nothing that the gameplay can do to make up for that in the standings.
What
You
we could
know-
also do is this is some statistical, mathematical craziness, but we could try to make it so each area is weighted equally and
Yeah.
take like kind of the average of what those scores are and then rank them based off of that. So it's kind of like each is a 20-point exam that equals 100 points.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. Just because of the sheer variety of music and ways you can break it down, I'm almost more willing to just say, let's just do champion
Mm.
and just call it there.
I'm
Because
all
I
right
really
with
do
that
think-
too.
I'm alright with that.
I really do think that if you get into the weeds of music, you're talking about a whole can of worms.
And
Yeah, a long time.
I also like that idea because then music isn't weighted as heavily because it doesn't have as many subcategories. It only has 4.
Sure.
Whereas while I do think music is important, I by no means think it is more important than the Pokédex, or NPCs for that matter. And I don't think that's a controversial opinion.
No, I'd agree with that.
So
I had
I
to
am
refresh
okay.
myself.
Yeah,
For
I
the
am
music. I didn't have to
okay,
refresh myself for NPCs.
86ing the other category, especially because when when I think of music, I think of champion themes and rival themes, and then everything else.
Sure.
Mhm.
So I am okay with that. I'm honestly actually on board with that. I kind of support that. What do our other 2 members think?
I'm pro that.
Pro
Yeah,
that?
I'm cool with that. I think that there are some like standout tracks that I want to mention, just like
Yes.
that
If you
people
want to
should
give
check
if
out.
you want to
I
give
was
your
actually gonna
list like
say,
I
I
did,
still want to know. I still want
Yeah.
to know what people think because I
yes.
think I'm so
And
curious.
maybe we will do a special stream where we go back and just for fun look at some of these themes.
Be cool, yeah.
And then we could even do that and play the themes, and I could just take the stream down after.
Yeah.
Because
I think you
I
could
want to keep this pretty pure.
sure.
And I don't want to have like, because I did try to think of ways we could play the music for this. And there's just no way to do it without getting portions of the video muted. And I
Sure.
do really want to keep this pure because I'm probably going to save this.
Yeah.
And I really like this conversation. So, oh, no problem, Tin Hat. Sorry for cutting you off. So I do like the idea of maybe doing this other section of music on its separate thing, and we can actually listen to the songs because some
Yeah,
of these
like
songs are really good.
like an honorable mentions
Exactly.
kind of thing,
Exactly.
not affecting the score. Yeah, no, I'm cool with that, and I'll save my some of these like recommendations. Some of these songs are like out of left field and just like
Well,
wait, this is the Elite Four theme. Like, they're
while Tin
wild.
Hat is gone, if you'd like to throw a couple of those out there.
Sure, yeah, just like things that people should check out soon. The Gen 5 and Gen 6 Elite Four themes are insane and very different than what came before. Um, the Deoxys in 3rd gen legendary battle theme is really cool and sounds like a Metroid song.
And in Oras, they make
Yeah.
it even better. And I am going to give you the hosting duties for a second here, and I will be
Sounds
right
good.
back.
Sounds
Seems
good.
like a time to BRB, or if you need to, do people need to BRB? Should I just put the BRB screen up, or?
I'm good. I just did.
Good to,
so.
yeah,
Okay,
just hang out.
so I am leaving the floor to you.
Sounds good.
Don't do anything I wouldn't do.
Okay. I'm gonna go cook a lot of food. Legendary themes just in general are interesting. There's a lot of them. Gen 1 really didn't put any effort into it. Like, because there weren't that many legendaries. So Mewtwo gets its own legendary theme in Gen 6 in X and Y.
Really?
Yeah, that's when it gets its like a special one. And it's also a Metroid song. So just like with the Oxys one. What gym leader? The surfing themes are strange. The Gen 3 surfing theme is always like positioned as really grating because of the horns. And it certainly has horns, not more than other Gen 3 songs. It is grating, but it's because of the flutes, I found. It has like a lot of flutes in it. And I thought that the Gen 6 surfing theme I don't really like, but it is interesting because it's very different than the previous ones, where the previous ones were like nice wavy fun times. The Gen 6 surfing theme is a waltz because it's like set in Europe or something, and it has like castanets and it's really slow. And the Gen 7 surfing theme is extremely disappointing because instead of trying to evoke water through like instruments, they just put bubble sounds in it. So,
that is a really strange way to do it.
yeah.
Do you
Gen
have a
4.
personal favorite surfing? So, I'm sorry to cut you off. I'm gonna let you go.
Oh no, surfing. I don't know. They all are so like the surfing themes. I don't think would be a good category for if we were discussing them for points because like none of them really stand out as being especially good. I thought quick pick the winner. Yeah, right, Katie. Wow.
In a landslide victory, Gen 2 wins because I like it and I'm nostalgic for it. Gen 2
Hell yeah.
ultimate winner, all points.
I don't even understand some of my notes for Elite 4, I think it was. I wrote about the Gen 3, the Ruby Sapphire Emerald theme, that, you know, they feel really different and they're cool, but that the ORAS versions are pumpkin. Which I don't know what that means. What else is really...
Caitlin got a cameo, by the way, just there because you made her laugh.
Oh, nice. Perfect. The Poke Center themes are all... The Poke Center theme is the theme that is, like, most closely, like, kept. Oh, hey, Caddy Bear. We're kind of on BRB right now. Ice and Tin Hat had to step away, so I'm just talking about all the music that I listened to that wasn't part of the competition. Just kind of vibing until Ice and Tin Hat get back. What up, Ice? But the Poke Center theme's really interesting because it's like the song that's the most consistent between all the generations. And the Gen 4 Poke Center has a different theme for day and night, which Gen 2 doesn't, even though it's the first to introduce a day and night cycle. And the Gen 4 Night Poke Center is like jazz. It's really interesting. So,
interesting.
Welcome back, y'all. You missed learning that ORAS themes are pumpkin.
Zelda chose to boop the nose today. She did not she did not wake up on the right side of the pillow. I walked into the bathroom. She followed me in. She was sniffing around. I picked her up because I don't like leaving her in there. And she was just like, "Why are you picking me up? I wanted to be in the bathroom." And she just went.
Makes sense.
As one does. So with all that being said, is it time to move on to the music main event?
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I think so. I think it's time for Sam to get loud.
Oh, it's time for me to get loud.
Yeah.
Deji said I was loud before. Oh, baby. I'm gonna... okay.
I
don't think...
Oh, go ahead.
I think they're all tied for 8th. I don't like any of them.
I think that we should start this by Ice saying what he thinks the best one is.
Can we drop this link in chat, Ice, so that people can...
Yes, I will do that. Right. actually, I can't because if I leave this screen on Discord, it will discombobulate everything.
did
So
it
if
for
one
me.
of
Yeah,
you
yeah,
could do
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
Thank you, Tin
Did it.
So for
Nice.
those of you who don't know, Caddy Bear in the chat lives in the same building as me. So I can
sick.
hear you from up here.
It's really
Wow.
funny.
Lives on the other side of the building on the floor above me.
Oh no.
Nice.
Oh no,
Oh,
no,
boy.
no.
I'm gonna get
That's
a noise
hilarious.
complaint weeks before I move out. um, that would be something. So champion themes. I am more
Or we could go from the bottom up if you
yes.
wanted to.
Okay.
I feel more strongly about the bottom than I do the top.
Sure.
Well, I
And it's
am
not a
going to be
champion, right?
more adamant that the bottom is how I want the bottom to be than the top is how I want the top to be.
Oh my god. Yeah,
And
I'm
is not a
nervous.
champion. Yeah, you're right. Tim.
I'm
Um,
nervous.
Gen 5 needs to be last.
Wow, you are
Because
completely wrong.
here, for me, this is why.
Okay.
I said this at the beginning of music when you had asked the question, are we just considering the music alone? And I made sure to say it needs to fit the scenario. It needs to fit the area. Alder's theme, to me, is a post-credit celebration theme.
Sure.
It does not feel like a champion theme at all. It feels like I've already won.
Alder is the post-credits champion.
Yes, which I don't like, but
That's fair.
that is neither here nor there. That is why
Alder's theme-
Alder is one of the lowest champions we rated. But
That's true.
when I fight a champion, I need final boss music. I need Brock Lesnar music. I need Sephiroth music. I need that in order to be invested in the battle.
Mm-hmm.
Alder, I feel like I've already won.
Yeah,
What?
well, you definitely have.
Yes. And Iris, I just
Hey,
wrote,
his bug type is really gonna crush you.
I wrote, while it fits her character, it feels like I feel like I've already won.
Sure.
And I'm like, when the main thing is ding dongs in a champion theme, I'm not interested. When her theme is just ding dong, it reminded me of Anastar City's theme, which I love. But it's not a champion theme, it's a town theme. I could see it fitting in really good in Gen 8 as Winden City's theme.
So
But-
I've got one
Yes.
clarifying question. Cynthia's theme will this will actually affect my opinion of Gen 5.
Yep.
Because Gen 5 has multiple Cynthia themes that are all very good. And because Cynthia's theme is my favorite theme, it would boost Gen 5 arbitrarily because she's in those. I don't think we should count those.
No, we should. This is why I asked those questions earlier. This is why us including Fire Red and Leaf Green, Heart Gold, Soul Silver, ORAS was something I was totally fine with.
Because Gen 5 is so much better.
Because I agree, Alder's theme, while a good song, is the weakest of the 7 champions themes that Gen 5 has.
But
do you want Cynthia in the villa? Do you want Cynthia in the tournament?
Pokemon World Tournament?
Here is my argument.
You want Iris in the villa? Or Iris in the tournament?
Here's my argument. In Gen 5, Cynthia is not a champion. She is not the champion of that game. Is she a champion? Yes. Is she the champion of that game? No.
Okay, series.
I lean more on that side because I think the champion theme for a generation should be the champion from the games that you play them.
I agree. I don't think Cynthia should count as a Gen 5 champion because she is not the Gen 5 champion.
I would discount Cynthia's Villa theme happily. I cannot discount the champion themes from the Pokemon World Tournament in Black and White 2.
Yeah,
I
that's fair.
wouldn't be able to participate in a discussion where those are discounted because they are participating
Okay.
in the champions tournament as champions.
I am going to put myself willingly on blast here.
Mm,
I have never done the champions tournament.
good.
So, as I'm assuming that some of you have,
Yeah.
is it as the name suggests? That is the champions tournament. Only champions can compete in that.
Yeah. It is Blue, Red, Cynthia, Wallace, Steven, Iris, Alder, you, and Lance.
Okay, then I can.
Gen
I
5
think
goes so high, so much higher because of
So
that.
high. Because those
think I
remixes
will-
are so good.
while I'm still not totally sold on it, I think
Sure.
that that's a compromise I will make, considering that they are still. The caveat of that is they are champions.
Right.
Whereas the Villa, it's kind of just she's another trainer.
Sure.
Obviously she is a champion, but if you didn't play Gen 4, there's a chance you might not have known.
Mhm.
Whereas
She's just a random lady
if
talking
this,
about her bathing suits.
yeah, whereas if this is the champions tournament, then maybe it makes more sense to include that.
Leaving out the Villa does leave out my very favorite Cynthia moment, though.
Yes.
As you walk in the door, exclamation point.
There she is.
Yeah.
I think the Villa remix of Cynthia's champion. I think the Villa remix of Cynthia's song is better than the Gen 4 one, but I think that the Champions Tournament remix of Cynthia's song is even better. I think that the Champions Tournament remix of each Champions theme is better than any other version, save for Red and Blue, who get insane remixes in Gen 7. I personally put Gen 5 first, unless you the only Gen 5 has so many good Champions remixes, and I think that Alder and Iris's are okay. The only thing that could potentially outstretch the World Tournament is Red's World Champion theme from Gen 7, because it is up there with N's theme. It is
So,
wild. I
then
didn't think it was a Pokemon song.
are
It's so
we
good.
are we also including? That's Battle Tree, right?
Right, that is Battle Tree.
Are we including Battle Tree then?
It's Call His World Champion song. I don't know. I count because it is a remix of his theme, you know?
Mhm.
So
Oh my god, it's so good too.
it's
I-
really good.
I feel like I'm not knowledgeable enough to have a vote on if these should count or not, because I did the Battle Tree when the game first came out and then never touched it again. And I've never done the World Tournament. So, I'm going to leave it to the people who have to say if those should be included. I'm
If we're
going to
talking
say out of it.
context, too.
What do you
Like-
three think? Should those two things be included? Should one be included and one not? Should neither of them be included?
So for me, when we were talking about the NPCs, I was considering all of their appearances. We were considering all of their appearances
Mhm.
as are they cool or not as NPCs. And so I'm considering all the appearances of their themes. But like we decided earlier, that matters for the generation in which they appear. The theme itself, not the generation in which the theme was first introduced. But, you know, we set some of the rules of engagement at the start.
Yeah.
So I want to know what you guys are thinking as well. What are you thinking, Jeffrey?
I think we've already put ourselves in a place where we set rules, and then the next stream we set different rules for
Sure.
how we're judging things.
Yeah.
But I think it is like contextual in the sense that the music is very dictated by the technology, and like characters are not dictated by that. So that is
Sure.
something that makes sense for them to be judged.
Mhm.
Like they are a Gen 1 character that is in other places. Yeah, I think that I'm on board to vote with Sam.
Constantly changing the rules. Tin Hat, or not Tin Hat, Zitro, have you seen any episode of my Rejuvenation Nuzlocke? Anyone? I change the rules 1,000 times a stream. Like, it's just,
Consistency is only inconsistency.
just. Or have you seen me and Tin Hat's streams? Like, we change rules 100 times.
Constantly.
That's just what I do.
Gotta keep rules on their toes.
So, I guess we should finish this discussion before I bring up another theme. Sorry.
It seems like the consensus is we are including these.
I would count them, especially because, again, if we're talking about context of songs, you can counter them all in a way where the context is you're fighting the champion, and I think that's what matters.
And I guess another way I'm looking at it, that link that Tin Hat posted, which was the link of the combined champion, I'm just considering the songs in that video.
Okay.
And that video it's a compilation of champion songs, and it has every version of each of these characters' themes. So that was kind of what I was.
do think that video has the villa though, and I am
It does.
vehemently
Oh, that's a good
against the
point.
villa.
Yeah,
I
and
don't
I'm fine
think that
with
should be
that.
included.
That's fine.
I still think though.
Oh, and it has N also. Never mind.
Nice.
We've already agreed N is
Yeah,
not
we've
being
already
included.
agreed.
N was in Rivals. We are not counting the same song twice.
Dude, if N was part of Champions,
If-
5th Gen would
If N
sweep.
was part of Champions, I think that 5th Gen would be a lot higher than I had originally put it. But
It would have 9.
does the fact that the main two champions, which I am assuming World's Cup champion tournament does not retcon them being the two main champions of
No,
the
it doesn't.
region.
We set
includes
legal
them.
precedent earlier in the previous rounds where if there's like objectively bad music, and there are other ones that make up for it, if
Mhm.
there is one that has consistently very good music, that can
beats
beat
it.
that. Yeah.
The issue that I think is we're going to run into with this category on that front is, to my knowledge, there's only 2 other regions, or only 1 other. No, 2. 2 other regions, or 2 other generations that have more than one champion theme.
Mhm.
Or no, Steven and Wallace have the same theme, don't they?
They do.
So it's only Kukui and How.
And
So I feel like for that
Well, and
reason,
so that being said, though, Gen 6 does have multiple champion themes because that is the Oros version.
does.
yes.
Yep.
Oh, that's valid. That's valid. Okay.
So you
Um,
actually have Gen 6, you have 5, 6, 7, all have multiple champion themes.
That is very valid. Okay, I did not think about that.
4 as well because of Heart Gold Soul Silver.
And Heart Gold Souls, yeah.
And 3 because of Fire Red Leaf Green.
In fact, the only ones that don't are 1,
1 and 8.
and 8.
So, with that being said, I retcon what I just said. And I do think that we should kind of try to keep that precedent that Zitro suggested. I also think the fact that the 2 main champion themes are some of the worst champion themes we've gotten, in my opinion. I don't know if y'all agree with that.
I like Iris's. I don't like Alders.
Yeah, I think Alders is
I
extremely
think
mid. I do
that
like
that
Iris's.
needs to be brought into account and weighed on a little bit of a heavier scale than the remixed brought in champions.
See, I wouldn't weigh it on a heavier scale, but I also think Alder's song is good, not great like most of the others, but I
Yeah.
don't dislike it. There is
I think
only
it's a great song in isolation. I
There
don't
is
think as
only-
a champions theme.
Well, I think that he's not the best champion, because I don't think he's the champion. I think An
Yeah.
and Getsus are the champions. I
And
do
is
like
the final
Iris's.
boss.
Right. But I also think that Alder's theme fits him,
Yes, it does.
feeling like a post-credit thing because he
Yeah.
is post-credits.
Mm.
But anyways, there's only one champion's theme I dislike, and it's Leon's.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I like Leon's. I get why someone would not like it.
I
I think
think-
I think it makes sense in the game when you are playing it. I think it
Mhm.
does not sound good in a re-listen.
Listen to it on your own. You're listening to the live version of a song, which is always worse. There's cheering in it.
Now, this is
It's so hard for me to separate it from when like you finally win and he grabs his hat and he pulls it over his head
Sure.
and throws it up.
Well,
Oh, it's so good.
and this is what I meant with the big fight feel.
Yeah.
This is what I meant with the final boss. Leon's theme feels like a final boss theme.
Mm.
It feels it obviously not the same vibe, but it gives me the same feeling when I fought Sephiroth. It gives me
Sure.
that final boss, oh, this is it. Whereas a lot of others don't. Both of
I
Gen
guess-
7's don't. Diantha's doesn't. Gen
Oh,
5's
wow.
Gen
I
5's
disagree with that.
mains
Whoa,
don't.
wholeheartedly.
You
Yeah.
can't just
I disagree
glaze
with that
over you dissing
wholeheartedly.
Six
Diantha's
is-
theme like
Diantha's is so good.
Yeah.
so good.
And I think it,
But
it
it's-
feels
it-
big time.
Look, it has what I wrote for Diantha's was big fight intro intense because it is, but it's while it does have that big fight feel, not like Gen 8 for me.
Sure. It doesn't have people cheering constantly like a WWE
Which-
match.
Well,
Yeah.
or like I guess with the theme of the game, and we didn't really talk about it, but the gym themes and the da 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 da. And when I was talking about like and clapping earlier, this is where I like it.
Sure.
Um,
Oh, sure.
I think it works really well
It-
in the game.
It works
Um,
with the game's aesthetic. It works with Leon's aesthetic, and it feels like a final boss, which is 3 big boxes that it checks for me.
Sure.
I might have gotten a little bit overzealous with Diantha's theme there, and I will admit that. But I was just kind of going down the list, and I wanted to bridge the gap between Kukui and Iris, so I did. And I am immediately backtracking on that. But I don't think it should be near the bottom. I think it should be mid at the very least. But then
I think
again,
I have
if we're counting the other Gen 5 things, maybe it is.
I think I have a very my nailed on bottom of the barrel is Gen 7.
I agree.
And I don't think they're bad songs. I don't think I don't like How's champion music is better than How's normal How music for sure. I don't think that I think that if we're talking about Mario Kart songs, that's a Mario Kart song. And I think that Kukui's song is fun and I think works thematically in a way that How's maybe doesn't for me. But I just also think it's not as good as a lot of the champion music is very like holy hell I'm here.
Yeah.
And I think it's a fun song. I like it.
Mhm.
I don't think it's the perfect
Sure.
champion song.
Is there a difference in Gen 7 when you are challenged? So the big difference with Gen 7 from the other ones, and I actually think this kind of matters, is you're technically the champion. They're challengers in both cases.
Yeah.
You've already hit champion, and Kukui and Hao are respectively your first contender.
Sure. But
And
both themes are your themes.
they're your themes. They're not actually Kukui's and Hao's. I mean, technically they are. But what I'm
Right.
saying is, like, the champion doesn't technically have a theme.
They still have those two. If they re-challenge, it's their themes. Gladion, if Gladion challenges, it's the same theme.
That was gonna be my question: is when you get challenged.
If the little kid challenges, it's Kukui's theme.
See, it's not even exclusive. Yeah, bottom it.
And why do I feel like there's one other challenger?
There is, but I don't remember who it is.
See-
almost
Is it?
positive
Oh, it's he has the same theme too. Who is it? Steel guy. He keeps his theme.
Mullane.
Mullane also keeps his theme.
Yeah, bottom it.
Yeah, I think they're good songs, and I think that we are considering both the music on its own merit and its context in the games. You know, that's something we've
Yes.
been trying to do this whole time.
Yes.
I think they're good songs, and Gen 7 has World Champion Blues theme and World Champions Red theme. And I do want to talk about World Champion Red's theme because it is the only other song that the like background behind it is approaching the coolness of N's song for me. And I do think World Champion Red's song is better than N's song even for me. World Champion Red's song is also Lance's champion theme. You get the same champion theme in Gold, Silver, Crystal when you're fighting Champion Lance and when you're fighting Red on top of Mount Silver. So it shows up again in Heart Gold, Soul Silver as Lance's theme and Red's theme. It shows up again in 5th Gen World Champion Lance and or Pokemon Tournament Champions Tournament Red and Champions Tournament Lance. It then shows up in Gen 7 for Sun and Moon in the Battle Tree. It shows up one other time too. It is the red, blue, and yellow main title theme. It is a remix. It's not the same, but the main melody for Lance and Red is the main title theme, the first song that you ever hear in a Pokemon game if you play the first generation of Pokemon. So it is like the most like Pokemon theme to me because of that, aside from maybe the like anime theme. But so I think that World Champion Red theme is like maybe my single favorite Pokemon song just to listen to from like a just it's enjoyable to listen to perspective. And then also it has that history through the series, and being the red and blue title theme is really cool to me. It's
an interesting song. It's dynamic. There's breaks. There's instrumentation changes. Yeah, it might be one of the best songs in the entire series.
I think that is very true, but I think that it still suffers from like the Kukui and how themes not being up to par for me.
Sure, and that's fair.
Like
I can't have. I probably couldn't have Gen 7 in the top half because I think that like it is dragged down so far.
I think that I'm weighing the music by itself more heavily, and I think that they're good songs, and so disliking Gen 7, like I don't want to play it, but I want to listen to those songs more than I want to listen to Leon's song by itself.
That's fair. I also so I like Leon's theme, and I am a big like Gen 8 defender. I'm okay with putting 8 at the bottom because I don't think it has enough weight on its own as a song, and I think Gen 8 has a lot of really great music. It was kind of like how like Skyrim has a lot of great music when you're playing the game, but when you're listening to a Skyrim soundtrack and just kind of like I'm supposed to just be vibing with it and not really paying attention to it. And I feel like that's what Leon's champion theme is. It's really great when you're in the moment, and it's just something that like it raises the stakes, but it's not something that you're supposed to actively be focusing on. For me, which can be different for other people.
I think I agree on 8 on the bottom, and I'm really gonna hate saying this. I think 3 is next.
3
Putting 8 on the bottom is killing me on the inside.
Think about so that's fair, and you can, you know, I can't tell you how to think about this, but like when we were looking at the trainer music, we weren't being like really disliked fighting this trainer in Meteor Falls.
Oh no, and I get
like,
that. It's just, I guess to me, number one, as I've said a million times already, I haven't played the World Championship Cup. Maybe if I played through it, it would raise it for me. Putting older, because when I look at Gen 5, I really just see older and Iris's theme. Putting that above Leon is really hard for me. And then also, more so, I just listen to the red theme. Putting Kukui in a how, even with the knowledge of that theme, above Leon is really, really difficult for me. But
Right.
I am
I
willing
wanna-
to take the L.
I want to make one distinction about like how I am perceiving this. Earlier, we're like, I don't want to discredit this music because I don't like Zubats. I
Yeah.
think there is something different about if you don't like a fight
Mm.
necessarily. I think there's something different with the Champions theme of does it represent thematically what champion music is?
Yes.
So I think it has to have merit both as a song and also for what it's supposed to be in like the Pokemon experience because I think that
Exactly.
those two things together shape how they affect your experience.
Yeah.
If we're talking about the best Pokemon game, those are the two big factors that go into that for me.
Yeah.
Yes. And I think
I
I
think that-
weigh the latter heavier than the former, which is why I think I like Leon so much, is because it feels like a champion.
What I will say about that ice is I think that there are plenty of other, and I'm gonna like Gen 1 and Gen 2 we haven't talked about yet in this
Yeah.
context. I think those are two songs that deliver on both levels. I
I
think that
agree.
when you get to the champion fight, and especially with like Lance, oh, it's just like there's no music for a bit. You're just walking, and then it does the like bunum bunum, and you're like, oh god, I don't know if I'm ready for this.
I
Um,
fully agree. I think Leon is a solid mid tier. I have Leon on my list as 5th. I just
I-
think last is I
Alright, wait,
I will
let's-
take the
It's-
L, but I just think
Sure.
Let's
It's
go
a lot.
back
Go ahead.
just 1 sec.
Yeah.
Rather than fight for the bottom,
should we
let's
look at
go
the top?
ahead and let's just see what we think maybe is higher up.
Well, before we do that, like we've been talking about, I just want to say, this is the hardest to separate from
Mm.
the NPC because it is a song for an NPC.
Yes.
It's a lot easier to separate the wild battle theme for these games than how much do I enjoy fighting wild Pokemon because of the mechanics, because of the Pokedex, because of the story in each of these games, you know?
Yes.
But and this is where like yes we have to rank them based on the merit of the song and our feelings about it in the context of the game because
Mhm.
it's really impossible to fully separate it.
Mhm.
But it's why I'm just going based on like this generation has this many of my favorite versions of these songs because I'm not trying to rank Alder above Leon. We've already ranked Leon above Alder.
Yes.
So that I'm trying to abstract the quality of the music and whether I think it works as a champion song is what I want to think about. I don't want to think about do I
Yes.
like Leon, you know?
Yeah,
So.
what I meant when I said putting Alder above Leon, I didn't mean as the NPC. I meant putting Alder's theme above Leon's theme.
Sure.
Even though there are other merits of that generation that I listen to the themes, do reasonably put that higher.
Sure.
My qualm is more so with Gen 7 being above Gen.
Sure.
But like I said, I will once again take the L on that. I think Gen 7 will need to be in the conversation shortly thereafter. But I am willing to put Gen 8 last if that is what the rest of the group thinks should be, which it sounds like that is what the rest of the group thinks.
I really do think Gen 7, despite having maybe one of the best tracks in the game, super suffers from the fact that you have technically 5 times you can hear that Champions theme, and it's only 3 different songs, and 2 of them are really bad, and one of them is just a reused Elite Four theme. Like, if we're giving credit to 5 for having all of these great remixes, I think we also have to knock 7 for having the opportunity to do something really cool and forgoing that opportunity.
I don't know. That's tough for me because so it's got 4 champion songs. Gen 7 does. It's got Blues World Champion as well.
Mhm.
I don't know. I think they're good. It does. He is at the World
Yep.
Tree.
And
Tree,
that
the battle
is
tree.
for that reason alone.
I think that's his
the-
gym leader theme.
No, it's different.
Oh, am I maybe?
I'm
Maybe I'm
pretty.
Omega Ruby
confused.
Alpha Sapphire has a Gen 1 theme.
I think that might be a mislabel in the. Let me look it up.
Is that
I think that might be a mislabel in the
on the thing?
video because I don't think that he's in Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire as world champion.
No, you're right. He does show up at the. I was trying to remember. I thought it was his gym leader theme because you don't fight him as part of. You
I
do
mean,
fight him
I
on the
just
tree,
I
but you
I
he
have a
is.
video
champion.
pulled up
You can fight him
that has
outside the
2
tree.
different chapters of Blue's theme. It says Pokemon Sun and Moon Battle Legend Red and Blue battle music, and it is 2 different songs. Like there is a chapter cut, and one song ends and the other one starts, and they are different.
Dude.
So and for that reason, I am okay putting 2 good songs above one with Leon. So I am willing to put Leon last.
I also might be misremembering which is which blue song.
I'm looking up which games he appears in.
Because I'm trying to
Yeah,
remember.
he's not. It's mislabeled in the video. He's not
That's
in
right, and he's
ORAS.
There was no like Frontier, there was no like tower
Right.
in.
He's in Sun Moon Ultra Sun Ultra Moon in the same
Yeah,
place
I know
that Red is.
You can fight him
Yeah.
outside of it, and then he's a mid.
And then
the
he's
mid boss
again
before you
in
get
it.
to Red
Yeah.
in the tree.
So I think have we come to the consensus that 8 is last?
Yeah, I think we have to put 8 there.
Okay. Now I do think I agree with Tin Hat here that we should flip reverse and start looking at the top now.
Okay.
Sure.
I'll say this about bottom real
Okay.
quick. Gen 1, every reiteration of it is better than the one in RBY. Which sucks because RBY's is so good.
I don't know that I agree with
It's
that.
really good.
I
but
don't know if I
Gen
agree
2's
with
I
that.
don't
better.
agree with that.
I
think
fully
better.
disagree. So no, man. Gen 1 is good because of how simple it is, because it builds so much tension. I wrote epic rests. All the remakes of it.
Before we got this, before we switched to other, I literally
Yeah.
said that it gives me anxiety
Yeah.
It
in
should.
a way that others don't. But I also
Yeah.
think that like I feel that anxiety in like the Fire Red Leaf Green remake a lot.
Sure.
Mhm.
And the Fire Red Leaf Green remake adds voices, adds
Yeah.
like choir to it. That does make it more. That does make it epic in a different way. But the thing that Gen 1 does with it that is so good is, and this is why part of why it gives you anxiety aside from the spaces, it has the low health sound in the song.
Yep.
Mhm.
It's so, and it's an evolution of it's I vibe with the Gen
I
1.
had
good. It's such a
Gen
good
1 on my list as second behind Gen 2.
I really
Behind
like
Gen
Lance's
2.
theme. I like Lance's theme a ton in Gen 2.
It is good.
I think this might be my Gen 2er showing a little bit because those are the games I have the most hours clocked in. Those are the games I have played the most. That was my first Pokemon game. That is why the entire layout around us is gold and silver. I love those games. I think it might be a little bit of my Gen 2er showing. But as Zitro said earlier, that silence into the theme,
Yeah.
If
So
I
so
shat
am
myself.
I love Gen 2's theme a lot, and I think that the intro is fantastic. I think that it has many places where like it kind of flips things around in a way that it's meant to keep you on your toes.
Mhm.
I think that it does have a section that I'm very indifferent about, where it just kind of sounds like normal battle music, but like a little
Sure.
ramped up, and that's like I don't know, maybe just 20 seconds or whatever, but it's it's on a loop for the whole thing. So I think the Gen 2, I think it ranks very highly for me, and I like its uses, like the use of rests that it does as well, which it obviously got from Gen 1. But I'm gonna try to find the part that I took a note on that I thought was just like kind of fine.
I would also like to say I made this list not considering the world Championship Cup.
Mhm.
Sure.
So, if we are considering that, I do think it's kind of hard to argue Gen 5 not being in first.
I like Gen 2's theme. I like Lance's World Championship cut of it more. I like Red's World Champion cut of it more. I think that the Heart Gold Soul Silver remix is bad compared to the Gen 2 version.
I was
So
gonna
that's
say
not
that's why Gen 4 is not in my top 3.
sure. It's not a knock against Gen 2 by any means. I just think that they tried to make it better with Heart Gold Soul Silver. What did I write down? Drops the ball, tries to be more grand, kills the suspense.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
it doesn't. It kills the suspense, and Gen 2 does a better job of being suspenseful with that song than Gen 5 or Gen 7. But Gen 5 and Gen 7 do different things with that theme that I just vibe with a lot. So the Gen 5 one is a little. Sorry, Tin Hat. I was just gonna say the Gen 5 one of the champion remixes for that you get for Gen 5. I I'm not I don't vibe with the Lance one, or I'm not sure if I'm vibing with it for like the first 20 seconds, and then the like drums hit, and I'm like, oh hell yeah.
I think my weird thing with Gen 2s is you have to listen to a lot of it before I'm like, oh, it's the champion theme, as opposed to this is
I strongly
the
disagree.
opening music. That's the difference between opening theme and champion theme. It takes a lot of the song before you get to the difference between main theme and champion theme. And that's
Yeah.
not bad. I love the main theme. But if you started playing the song for me, I was humming along with it, I would get it wrong. Because I'd be like, and Lance's theme would keep going, like, oh, this
Sure.
was the champion theme. I was ready
Yeah.
for this to be the main theme.
I
Which
I
did
think what
again,
Gen
it's
2
not a
does
bad thing to
well.
reference your main theme. I'm just thinking that, like,
We also
the
need
fact
to
that my
account
brain first goes to not this song when I hear the same tune
if
maybe says something.
if we are counting the Battle Tree Red theme, I think we should also count the Red theme.
That is Lance's Gen 2. I think Mount Silver
Same
Red
one.
Is it the same?
Champion Lance. I think
Oh,
so.
is it? I thought it was the Gen 1
Maybe I'm
champion.
wrong. Maybe I'm wrong, but I thought it was the same.
I might be wrong.
I thought both champions in Gen 2 used the same song.
Okay, I could be wrong.
And
Yeah.
I've not played Gen 2 in a long time all the way through to Red.
If
I've
that's
stopped
the
at the
case,
beginning
then
when
I
Can't Go
redact
Bad or
my
Been Through
statement.
Gadgets so many
It is
times.
the same song.
Okay, I redact my former statement. Continue. Allow me to make a fool of myself once again on my own
so
channel.
the the GSC champion Lance and Red theme being very similar to the RSY main title theme. You're right, Tinhat. I don't know that I would have recognized that if I wasn't like listening to them all the way, like refreshing myself, and I did listen to all those main title themes. I do think it's a good thing, but I also really like when, like, at the kind of climax of the story, it brings you back to like the opening theme or something like that. So I think it's good.
It's, like I said, it's not a bad thing. I'm not knocking it for it. I'm
Sure.
saying that if you played it for me, my first thought isn't Lance's theme. My first thought is, oh, this is the opening. Oh wait, no, it's Lance's theme. Never mind.
I guess what it does, it starts different than the opening theme with the just like dut dut dut, but then it does just play like it is the opening theme.
Yeah, until
and
you
then it gets into like a mix of it. So
yeah.
I really do like that opening. The silence
the-
before it is not part of the song. I mean, it's not playing a song at that part. So
I'm not necessarily counting that as part of it.
Sure.
I part is very strong, and I think that the part that I don't love about that song is just the normal theme before it does crazy stuff, and I think it gets really good again.
Oh yeah, that's getting really
Um,
good.
By the way, I would just like to pause now and say part 3 coming soon.
Oh yeah, I do need to be in bed like relatively soon.
I like.
Um,
Oh, go
yeah,
ahead.
I think
Yeah.
I am very happy that we spent this much time talking about music, but this is gonna be the stream.
That's good.
Yeah.
Especially because I definitely think the rest of it we can get through
Sure.
in one swoop. So I just want to point that out now. This is probably going to, almost definitely going to be our last topic of conversation.
Yeah, yeah.
I
Well,
like
in that
Gen.
case, let me tell you why Diantha's theme is actually the best one, even though Cynthia is commonly perceived as the best.
Diantha's theme's really good. It's
I like it quite a bit.
really good. It feels it. I think potentially more than any other for me feels like the culmination of a journey. Like it's that etherealness is just so cool. But
It feels
I
like her to me too.
I would put I don't know that I
I
want to
don't
say I'd put
actually
it.
think it's the best. I was just being dramatic.
Sure. There really is only one champion theme that I don't like, and we already went over that one. So it's kind of that thing where even though that some are going to be low on the list, like I still really like them. Like I do like Alders, I do like Lances in Gen 2, but I like Gen 1's champion theme
So
more than Gen 2's champion theme. I would put Gen 1 above Gen 2.
I would put Gen 3 below all of them too. It's below 2 and 1. Even though I really
So
love the Fire Red Leaf Green remix.
Yeah. Gen 3's
I
theme
think
doesn't make me afraid.
I rate Gen 3 low for the same reason that I rate Gen 5 low. Like the champion theme from that game is not good. And Sam, I disagree. I don't like Alder's theme that much at all. Like as a song, like I don't
Sure.
want to listen to it outside of that game. And it's fine in the game. I think it works for what it is, but I don't think it's that good standalone. I like Iris's theme, and if Gen 5 has a bunch of really cool remixes in other parts that are champions, I think that is a part of it. But I just think that there are other games where like Gen 1 has one banger and it's so good and that is the song you get and there's no downside to champion music in Gen 1 in a
Sure.
way that does not exist in Gen 3 or Gen 5 for me.
Okay.
I'm okay with putting Gen 1 first. The look
I-
on Tinat's face. The
I'm not.
look on Tinat's face.
I would put Gen 5 above Gen 1. But so Jeffrey, if you don't like Alder's theme, that's fair. I like Alder's theme. And I am counting the music as like the whole. So like I'm counting all of the things that Gen 5 has, all of the things that Gen 7 has, together. I'm not really waiting. I'm listening to the songs, I'm thinking them as songs,
Yeah.
So yeah, so I'm not dragging Gen 5 down because I don't like Alder as a champion or something like that. So
Yeah, I also like. I'm not rating that song because I don't like Alder as a champion. I don't like that song that much,
yeah,
I
that's
don't
fair.
think it. I don't think it works as a champion song for me, and I don't think that works as a Pokemon song for me. I think it's fine, but I do admit that Gen 5 has a lot of really cool remixes that do obviously a lot of service for Gen 5 in this category. I don't think that I would put Gen 1 at number 1 either. But I think it's very good. I don't think I would put it number 1. I am okay to confirm Gen 3 as our second to last.
I am also okay with that.
That's good by me.
Yeah, that works for me.
Alright. So it appears as though working backwards might be better for us.
I think we have to bounce around.
Yeah, I do
and
too.
that's kind of in the vibe of all of them. It's hard to
Yeah,
do
but-
it in order.
I'm going to go ahead and address the Garchomp in the corner. Let's talk Cynthia's theme. It's one of the most incredible moments in all of Pokemon. I know that I do love the remixes in Gen 5, which is why I would put 5 over 4 in this case. And 4's champion themes are the Heart Gold Soul Silver remake of 2, which we don't like as much as 2.
Yeah.
But Cynthia's theme, just from a song standpoint, it's incredible. From a context standpoint, is incredible. And I think that for as much as I want to put her higher, I kind of have to put her in like 3-4 range, just because I don't think she's better than 2. I don't think that Gen 4 is better than 2, and I don't think her own song is as good as it is in a later gen.
Sure.
If you'll recall earlier, I said that Wally's theme is my second favorite song in all of Pokemon. My first favorite is Cynthia's Villa theme.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's a little bit unfortunate that that's not her first theme. Obviously, you can't really say that because it just didn't exist at the time. But I think that does take her theme down a tiny bit for me, that 2 better versions of it exist. As well as the fact that I think that Gen 4 butchered Lance's theme so hard that it really brings the entire generation down from the top 3 for me, which is really upsetting. I don't know, again, if that's just the Gen 2 stan in me loving Lance's original theme so much that seeing what they did to it literally made me cry. Or if that is genuinely a fair assessment, but that's just how I feel about that.
If we're so I don't think that's bias that you're showing. I think that they took a song that felt very high stakes and they made it very not high stakes. They made it mid stakes for what should be a high stakes moment. The issue I have with Alder's theme is that I don't personally like it, which I think is directly counterbalanced by Sam saying that he does like it.
Mhm.
And if the room wants to put 5 at number 1, 5 does have a lot of really, like, it has merits to be at number 1.
I think with the remixes in account, I do think it's very hard to argue against it.
I think lock it in.
And Deji brings up a very good point. If we're not bringing them up here, then where are we bringing them up? Because we got rid of the others category. Whereas if we had kept that, I would make the argument maybe they go in the others category.
Sure.
But without that, I think they need to be included here. I don't think we can just omit them from the conversation because they are pretty big themes. I think it's unfortunate that they came in Gen 5 with 2 other really bad main champion themes, in my opinion. Say what you want about them, but
Sure.
or I won't say that. I'll say I think we can all agree that they are lower tier than a lot of the others. It's kind of unfortunate that they came in that generation as opposed to like Gen 6, where that would have just confirmed Gen 6's place in number 1. But I think it's really hard to argue the fact of it with 5 bangers and 2 bummers as opposed to 1 really big banger with Gen 1 or Gen 2, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So I think it's just hard to argue.
I can lock in 5 at number 1.
I can too.
I really, if we're counting these songs,
which we are,
good songs are carrying less good songs for me, just generally. I would be okay with if y'all wanted to, this wasn't the way that I approached this list, but if you wanted to change it to say, just the champion battle of the game song, if you wanted to say the champion song is the champion battle of the game, then we would discount the world champion songs from 7. We would discount all the Pokemon World Tournament remixes from 5. It would drastically change the list, but it would still be a valid list. I think either list is valid. It's just which one do we want to go with? Do we want to all the champion music in the generation or the champion of the game?
As the curator of this, the person who came up with this idea and created the category.
Yes.
Let's go to author's intent. When you created this category, what did you intend this to mean?
I will say this with the caveat of author's intent changed when we got rid of the others category. But author's intent was the champions of the games. So Gen 1, we would only be talking about Blue. Gen
Sure.
2, we would only be talking about Lance. Gen 3, we would be talking about Blue and Wallace and Steven, etc., etc., etc. I also, again, I knew the World's Champion Cup existed. I didn't know what it entailed. I didn't know if gym leaders were a part of that. I didn't know what it was. So I had never even gone over there. I can tell you where it is, but I don't know where it. I don't know much about it. I listened to the themes because they were on that video, but that's about it. So author's intent was just the champions of the game, just who they consider to be the champion, and then all of this other stuff would have gone into the others category, or when I originally had it, I had it as other important trainers.
Sure.
That would have gone into that category. But I think at this point, I think we need to, with having those categories removed, I think we need to include them in the champions theme because I think omitting them would just be a mistake.
It would be
Well-
different if they weren't champions at the Champions Cup. Like
Yes.
if it was a champion, if it were they were like, hey, we were a previous champion, but we're not right now,
Mhm.
then I don't think it counts. But
Or if it was a cup to determine the next champion of.
Yeah.
That's why I said, did they retcon who the champions are? Because if it was a cup to determine the next champion of Unova, I would say then they're not the champion.
Sure.
But if it is just a champions cup to see who the best of the best is, I think that they are all still champions and need to be considered as such.
I do want to say, so Gen 5 is my favorite,
Mhm.
and the world tournament at the end of, in the post game of Black 2, White 2, is my favorite Pokemon content overall. Because you get to fight all the former gym leaders, get to fight all the former champions. Super cool. So I really like the world champion, or the champions remixes of these songs. The other categories, which we've already decided will not count for points for this stuff, we've still said we could talk about these for fun at a later
Oh
time.
yeah, and I hope we do.
I'm fine with moving post-game other champion battles to that discussion because gym leaders are already in that discussion, and the gym leader battle theme is probably more important to whether a game is better than another one than post-game champion content. You know, like these themes, most of the people who play these games aren't gonna hear.
Mhm.
They are still my favorite ones, and like I would love to put Gen 5 in first, and I know that if we remove them, Gen 5 tanks, but most people aren't going to hear these songs when they're playing the games.
Yeah, and I mean, I'd also
And it was
like
your author's
to,
intent to
I'd also,
not count.
yeah, I'd also like to defend myself a little bit because I feel like I've said a lot now that I haven't done the World Championship thing. That is not from a lack of playing Gen 5.
Oh, sure,
I have
sure.
played the shit out of those games. For those of you who don't know, for those of you who think that Unbound was the first series we did on the channel, Pokemon-wise, for those of you real MVPs that were here day one, the first thing I ever did on this channel was Pixel Month. Then after that, I did a black randomizer,
Right.
which I immediately lost. So,
The champion tournament at the World Champion Tournament is the very last thing
yes,
in the very last thing in the second game of a generation.
Of the
So like
post-game.
you have to
Yeah.
play you have to play a lot of Gen 5 to get
So,
there. So if you want to say this is just about the champion of the game, the champion fight, and the song that plays then, and we want to remove, so it would still include Lance's remix in Heart Gold Soul Silver, but it would not include Blue's remix in Sun and Moon, stuff like that. That makes sense to me, and I'm fine with that. That is closer to your original intent as well.
yeah, how I am going to decide this and not to put all of the pressure on this person, Zitrone, how much
Yeah.
time do you have before you need to go? Roughly.
I will probably have to be asleep in I don't know. I mean, I could do half an hour. I could do an hour.
Okay, because I'm just
I'm not
thinking
gonna go in 7 minutes.
if we change how we're doing it, we're going to need to restart this category kind of because I don't think Leon will be last anymore.
Sure.
So
I think it would go quickly though. We've
I
already
do
discussed
too.
a lot of these songs.
I do too. I just think if we're making this decision, I think we'll need to reassess everything. I'm gonna kind of stay impartial because creators bias. I'm gonna let you three kind of decide where you want to take this.
I'm fine with removing them because if we keep them in, Gen 5 I think is first if we keep them in, but that's also just because it has like 7 songs. How could Gen 1 compete with that? Whereas if we remove them, it restricts the number of songs to at most the number of champion battles that you get at the end of the Elite Four in the games in that generation.
The original way that I was thinking of it, and the reason why it was hard for me to put Gen 5 at number 1 is I feel like there is, if we're ranking the champion battle, it has a lot of champions in it, but we're not facing the champions from those games. Like they are previous champions that are like popping in, and I think it's really cool that they do that. I think I was more worried about ranking the champion battle from the game as a representation for what those generations are.
Mm-hmm.
I can go either way on it, but that was the original way that I was viewing it.
Okay, so if that is the case, it seems like Pinhat needed to take a moment. So it seems like we are all kind of on the same page here that that will be for our bonus episode that we do some point down the line where we talk about all of the other music that we did not go over here today.
Sure, those would be like other special battle musics.
Yes. So, and I will make a whole different list for that because there are so many different musics that we omitted.
Sure.
So with that being said, I think we will need to. I'm going to wipe what we have written for champion themes.
Sure.
And obviously, pretty much everything we said is still valid.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll just kind of need to reassess.
Yeah, that sounds good.
I think if we are reassessing, I think that Howe's champion theme in Ultra Sun Ultra Moon is a nailed on 7th or 8th place for me.
I agree. And I think that 5th gen with this new addendum is right down. I think whichever one is 7th, the other one is 8th.
Yeah, I want to listen to Gen 3 again because Tin Hat had mentioned that Gen 3 was not.
It's not
super
bad.
Good. It's not bad.
My problem
It's
with Gen
mid.
3 is that Steven and Wallace have the same theme.
Yeah, but like, I don't know.
I think that was kind of the precedent at the time, though. Like that
Yeah,
had changed.
that's valid.
In
That is
later,
valid.
not to say that that's you can argue it either
No,
way.
that's true. I guess it's just that Steven fight felt so drastically different than the Wallace fight
Yeah.
that I wish it had a different vibe to it in terms of the music, because when I genuinely, and I might have just been a high-hoped little kid, when I fought Wallace and Steven's music started playing, I thought something was about to happen. I thought Steven was about to run in and be like, bam, bye Wallace, it's me. Like, you thought you could take my spot.
Sure.
I guess to me, as the type of person that likes to think about a character having their own individualized music, it seems weird to me that these two drastically different characters and champions who both have very different characters that I like a lot. And I think that is also why I'm so harsh on it, because I love both Steven and Wallace as characters. I think they should have different themes. But I also am not a huge fan of the Fire Red Leaf Green. I feel like it doesn't change enough to the point where it's fine. It's not offensive like Lance's change, but just kind of there. It's very much like a lot of the wild battle music is for me. it's not bad. I didn't get viscerally angry like with Lance's in Gen 4, but
Sure.
it's there. I'm not mad. I'm not happy. I'm indifferent. It's a good theme. I to go back to what Sam was saying before, I will listen to that song. I like that song. It's fine. It's okay. But when I look at the killer's row that we've got with Cynthia, Diantha, Leon, in my opinion, Lance, and Gary. Why did I say Gary? Blue. I had it written as Gary. That's why. But I just think that that's a killer's row, and it brings that down quite a bit.
Sure. Cynthia's theme in Gen 4, even not being the best version of her theme,
It's still
is
insane.
still a better Champions theme than either of Gen 3's.
Yes.
So I guess I don't really fault Gen 3 as much for having the same theme for Wallace and Steven. I agree, I wish they had separate themes. I wish Red had a different theme at the end of Gold, Silver, Crystal. I think
Yeah.
that's kind of just a limitation of, I don't know, a lot of things. It's still a good song. It's not bad.
Mhm.
I think that Wallace and Steven's champion theme is better than Alder, Iris's, Kukui, or House.
Yeah.
And I like it more than Leon's. Both, both in the context of the fight with Steven, and also for just listening alone. But I would put it. I would put Cynthia's. I would put Diantha's above it. I would put Red's, or I put Lance's and Blue's above it.
Mhm.
So I'm torn between Gen 8 and 5 for my number 7.
What are we
I
saying
think
is last?
did we do 7?
Oh, did we agree
Did we
on
do
7?
I don't know. Maybe I just said that. I didn't know if that was.
I mean, I think Tin Hat will agree with 7. Um, Tin Hat seemed to be, I don't want to speak for them, but seemed
Sure.
to give off the vibe of 7 being pretty low down. I am fine with 7 in last. I think that it
Yeah.
fits. I think that house theme, and this is something I wanted to bring up. House theme was always bad for me. Rejuvenation ruined house theme for me because it is literally music that they play in a club. And ever since then, I am like, oh, it's just random club music, which I know I shouldn't take into account, but I do. Um, it's like, and now every time I hear house champion music, I'm like, oh, this is nice club music. Like,
House champion music is Mario Kart music.
Yes.
Kukui's champion music is fine, but I think the combination of this one is okay and this one is not does not work for me, and I think that's last for me.
House feels like champion music to me because it feels like Pokemon Coliseum battle music, so it feels like a big fight because of
Sure.
that. Because those games are funky,
Yeah.
and so the funkiness makes it feel like I'm having a fight in a big cool arena with Mirror B.
That's
Like,
valid.
I do
I'm
think
a
that
big Coliseum stan. So
Mirror B, the funkiness in that is way better than House.
Oh, yeah.
Which I like
Definitely.
do not enjoy.
Yeah.
But like I'm listening to House right now, and like I'm vibing. I think it's good.
Okay.
I'm fine with it in last, but I would put 8 right above it.
Yeah,
Like
that's where I would do 8 as
they're
well.
very similar.
Okay. Let's tentatively do that, and then when Tin Hat gets back, we will run it by them and see, and we can have a follow-up conversation, or do you think we should just wait?
I think write it down for now, and then
Okay.
we can
Yeah.
circle back.
Put it
Okay.
tentatively there.
Um,
And then I guess 5 would go right above that.
I
Is
think
that what
so.
we're saying?
I think so.
And then 3,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and that leaves 6, 4, 2, and 1.
Which is a killer's row of themes.
It's really good.
Oh my god. That is such a fatal 4 of
Yeah.
If Heart Gold and Soul Silver did not count, then Gen 4 would have such a very strong case right now.
I think if they didn't count, I think it would be my number one.
Sure.
Yeah, unfortunately, the Lance theme in Heart Gold Soul Silver is.
And I think that brings it down to 4.
It's either 4th or 3rd. I don't know. I think Cynthia's theme is better than Diantha's.
What is Steven's theme in Oras? Is it better,
Oh,
worse,
good question.
Ooh,
significant? Is there a significant change to that theme?
What is it at all? Yeah, good question. I'm gonna listen to it now.
Oh,
Ooh,
this is kind of good.
this might be. This
I'm
might.
pr-
this
I'm
might
pretty
be good.
anxious. Yeah, I'm anxious right now because of the song.
That's got a nice drum.
Because then that is 2 good themes. That is Steven's remixed theme and Diantha's theme together.
Sure. I might go 6 in 4th place and 4th in 3rd place.
With 2 good themes against one really good theme and Lance's theme.
No, I'm saying put 6 above 4.
Oh, I thought
Yeah.
you said 6 and 4th. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah. No, sorry. 4th and 4th.
4th and 4th, 6th and 3rd.
Yes,
what
there
you
we
would-
go.
Okay.
It's tough.
That's what I
when
meant. I
there
did
are
say
so
the
many
wrong
numbers we have.
Yeah,
to
there are
say.
so many, and it's all the
I
same.
did say the wrong thing. Yeah.
Okay, so I agree with that. Which pains me to put Cynthia so low, because that theme is.
But
Cynthia's
it's with
not that low.
Lance.
Cynthia's carrying. Cynthia's
But-
being
Yes,
dragged
it's a-
down. This is a team sport.
It is.
Yeah.
It is one of the best champions theme, and in my opinion, the worst champion theme in the same
Cynthia-
generation.
Is an elite quarterback with no viable receiver options.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
Russell
you don't get
Wilson.
to the Super Bowl.
Sorry, I'm still not salty about the Seahawks, by the way, guys. I'm not. I'm not.
Well, you got Drew Lock now. Everything's looking good.
Oh yeah, everything's fine.
I think that Gen 1, because 1 and 2 are the ones that are left, right?
If we are saying that 4th is in 4th and 6th is in 3rd, then 1 and 2 would be what's left. Which you already know where I stand on it.
I think Lance's theme is really good, but I think it suffers from the fact that there's like a section, the second main section of the song. I think is like it needs to build still. It's not quite there. It opens so strong, and then it comes back, and then it reaches that high again.
Yeah.
I'll listen to Red.
In Reds, there's this part. I think it's like 12 seconds into that video where the like. It just sends me, and then you get later in the song you get the doo-doo, 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 like you've got low health no matter what you do.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, Lance's theme is probably my favorite of these that are left, but I think that there's no bad spot in Reds, and Reds being blues, red, blue, yellow, but
Sure.
blue is the person we're fighting.
They're both really good. Blues
I
makes
agree
me.
with everything you've said.
Oh.
Nice.
Entirely up to this point.
So, Tin Hat, would you like to kind of hear what we've done up to this point?
Yes. Hit me
So,
with it.
What
I
we
have no
have.
right to complain. I had to step away, so I'm not gonna.
Oh no,
complain.
we
We want to
still
know what
want
you think.
the
This is all
input.
Yeah.
tentative.
We literally said let's just kind of make a tentative thing, and then when Tin Hat gets back, we'll kind of go from there. So in last place we put Gen 7. In second to last place, we put Gen 2.
And 8.
Or 8, excuse me. Whoa. It has 2 points, and I was looking at it, and I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, we really turned around on
No,
Gen 2. Didn't we?
no. Gen 8 is in second to last. In 6th place is Gen 5. In 5th place is Gen 3. In 4th place is Gen 4. In third place is Gen 6, and we are down to 1 and 2 for first and second.
Yeah, I would put 4 higher, but otherwise, I think it's a really good list.
So
What
you were
we
talking about that.
ultimately agreed with there was that Lance dragged
HPSS.
Cynthia down so far.
Yeah,
And-
HPSS, yeah.
And then we listened to ORAS's remake of Steven's theme, and it was good.
It's really good.
It's
Yeah.
way better
Really
than
good.
Steven's normal theme.
Mhm.
So it's Dianthe and another good song versus Cynthia and a bad song.
And a bad one. No, that makes sense when you put it like that. Yeah, and also like I also have a very special moment with Peaches taking down Steven. So
Yes.
that song is forever burned in my
Right.
forebrain. So
So
so it's 2-1 is what we're discussing.
2
now?
and 1 for first and second is kind of where we're at right now.
My
I
favorite is Gen
can-
2. I think it goes 1-2 in that order.
I think it goes 1-2. I mentioned earlier my biff with Lance's theme, which is a minor one, I know. But when you're splitting hairs, you gotta split hairs.
I am happy either way. I think both of these themes are top of S tier themes. My vote is for Lance because, of course, it is. But I am 100% happy putting blue first. Like no problem, not upset at all.
I think Gold, Silver, Crystal have a super good Champions theme. I really like that it is like a remix of the main theme from Red and Blue, but Red and Blue's Champion theme, just above everything else, having the low health sound in the song is such a good touch. It just gives me chills, makes me anxious right away. So they're very close, but I would go Gen 1 then Gen 2.
All right, so 1 takes it. And with that, let me add up.
We can possibly let 2 win another category. That'd be.
Oh yeah, no, of course
Yeah.
not.
Well, Gen 2 is going to win mechanics because
Oh.
you can get youngster Joey's number and then he calls
Right.
you constantly.
Because your
And that's
mom can
great.
hold your money for you.
Yeah.
Gen 2 respects daylight savings time, which no other game does unless it's the DS doing it for the game.
Hey, they're gonna have to
So,
change that next year.
They're gonna have to go back
they
and
are gonna have to
re-release those
reprogram
games.
those games. Well, they should anyway.
Yeah.
So, oh shoot.
This is a side point while ICE is doing calculations.
Yes.
I understand that daylight savings time is objectively a very confusing thing and is not taught very well in America, where it is important. It's very funny to me when people are like, I hate daylight savings time. It's so dark in the winter. And I'm like, so you do like daylight savings time. You just don't like the
You don't
time
like not
change.
having it.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm kind of concerned. So I have a watch that sets itself by the atomic clock in Colorado, and if they get rid of daylight savings time by making it always daylight savings time, then even though it will not be daylight savings time anymore, my watch will always say it's daylight savings time. So
Well, technically, it will always be daylight savings time.
right, yeah,
There will just
It'll never
we
be
are
standard.
It just won't
eliminating
be.
standard time.
yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. What'd you find, Ice?
Oh, something saucy is happening.
That's
Something.
excellent.
Oh my god. We have 2 ties currently.
Ice, where did is Zoids number 1?
Is this a reference I'm not understanding?
I think we.
Oh,
I think
probably.
this is where we show that we are older than you.
Older. Yep.
Zoids existed very briefly, but it came in hot. It came in swinging,
Yep.
and then died quickly.
You'll be happy to know, Zitro, Chaotic actually did
Oh my
really
God.
well this.
Oh
this
no,
week.
my age is showing. So the scores as they stand. Still in last place is Gen 7.
Yeah, that's tough.
In 7th place is still. Oh wait, with Gen 2 or Gen 7 has 52 points.
Okay.
Gen 6 has 53 points and is in 7th place.
My God.
Tied for 6th and or 5th place is Gen 8 and Gen 2 with 54 points. So there is a 1 point difference between 7th and 8th, a 1 point difference between the tied 5th and 6th and 7th. It is
So they're
such
all
a close
so
race.
close.
Until
Well,
you
They're all
get
so close to the bottom.
Yeah.
until
The
you get
relegation zone.
to 4th place, which is 4th gen with 61. So that is quite a big jump. That's a 8-point jump there, or 7-point jump there.
Wild. Fourth got to ride on being middle of the pack almost every time.
Yeah.
And then 5 points above, in 3rd place, is Gen 5 with 66. And then tied for 1st place with 82 points, Gen 1 and Gen 3.
Whoa!
Gen 1 gained 1 point on Gen 3 in this round, and
Wild.
therefore tied into the final stream. I could not have planned this better if
Yeah,
I
oh my
had
goodness.
tried.
Gen 1 had to pick up points here because I think it's got a rough time coming.
Oh yeah, I think
Yeah.
4 and 5 are going to get huge points when we introduce the physical special split without
Oh my God.
introducing megas or Z moves or Dynamax.
Now, do we still want to keep the remaining categories mystery, or do we want to reveal them?
Do we need to train for any of them?
Not to my knowledge.
Yeah,
I
that
don't
makes
think you
sense.
should
Fun,
have
keep
to.
it. Yeah.
I will tell you this, I'm not training for any, and nothing to the
Sure.
level of music.
I'll
Yeah.
Google constantly when we're debating it.
Yeah.
And I'll see if I
That's
can
been my
get
plan.
my thoughts in order when I begin talking. By the
Have
end of
we
it, I should know what I want to
evaluated
say.
which Monster Rancher themes came out closest to the Pokemon games? Valuable
Wow.
consideration. All right, let's restart. Let's go back to the start of this
I've got 3 more
entire.
hours. Yeah.
Yeah, let's do this all again. I was not. I was expecting music to take an hour max, and I'm so happy that it didn't. I'm so happy that we gave an entire stream to music because I think it's awesome. Because I feel
Worth
like
it,
it gets
yeah.
overlooked a lot.
I think we've also planned another just for kicks music stream.
Yeah. Literally, I am so happy we spent as much time being a music nerd. I am so happy that
yeah.
we spent as much time talking about music as we did. I think next stream is going to be really heavy with a lot of really in-depth looks at the games themselves, less music stuff where that's kind of isolated. This is going to be looking at a lot of how it changed the entire line of Pokemon. So with that being said,
You see, you think it's gonna be heavy for that. It's gonna be heavy because I'm gonna dredge up a bunch of really personal oversharing stories.
oh yeah, Post Malone's gonna come and tell us some.
We didn't even talk
What'd you
about
say
where
to me?
Post Malone fits into this conversation. He puts Gen 8 way over top.
Oh my God.
And
that's
that,
right.
ladies and gentlemen, is what we call bringing it full circle. That's one of the first things they teach you in culinary school, is bring it full
True.
circle.
One of the first things they teach you in culinary school: talk about Post Malone.
Well, literally.
Ignore
Culinary
Katy Perry's
foundations,
song.
they teach you what a brunoise is, they teach you what a macedon is, and they teach you who Post Malone is.
It's really important to balance your acids, your salts, and your Post Malone in every dish.
Mm-hmm.
People
Oh.
think that it's pronounced Metfadi. It's actually Malone.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So, with all of that being said, I would like to thank everybody who was watching this second edition of the Preeminent Pokemon Parlay. And I would also like to thank my 3 council mates once again for joining me here for
Thank
this
you.
journey, this absolute journey I want you to know, I don't know if I told this story last time. I'm going to do it quickly. This all started over a year ago with a 2 a.m. in bed thought of what Pokemon game is the best. This was a 2 a.m. thought after a wild night out, being like, which Pokemon game is the best? And I made this spreadsheet at 2 a.m. and I have gathered the smartest minds in this game to join me on this adventure, and I'm so happy that you all agreed to do this with me. Year in the making. It started as a um it started as a 1 year stream anniversary. We are now almost at the end of our 1 month or our 1 year month of April. It's crazy that we're over a year. I'd like to thank all of you so much. And I'd also like to ask for raid suggestions. I checked the Beanpod Discord. It doesn't seem like anybody is streaming right now. I could be wrong about that, but if any of my fellow council members or anybody in chat has any raid suggestions, we can go show them some Ice Nation love. I'd also like to thank both my council member Pinhat and Pandeji again for the subs tonight. Thank you so much for that. It means the world to me. You both know that. So thank you so much for that. And with that being said, does anybody have any raid ideas?
I have
if you want to read
two.
somebody who's relatively new to streaming, they're really good, but they're still getting started. So
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna check out someone new.
Yeah.
I have two suggestions of like Beanpod adjacent people, but not Beanpod proper. But the foundation of the pod was supporting new streamers. So
Hey, I mean, look, without support of you guys, I would have never gotten off my feet. So I am all for supporting new streamers.
I think that's the vibe then.
So, Tin Hat, if you don't mind just throwing their name in the chat so I can just copy and paste it, that would be great.
yeah, they just started up a few weeks ago.
Perfect.
But I've really loved their stream so far.
Sick.
Also, just a quick PSA for just Ice Nation stuff. I've talked about this already, but I'm just going to talk about it again now. This is my finals week of my final week of college. Then after this, on Saturday, I'm going to be graduating college and then immediately moving out of my apartment. So streams within this next 10 days are going to be limited. I can almost guarantee you that the meeting of the council will not happen in these next 10 days because it's just too stressful. It will happen again. I promise you that. But I'm expecting maybe 1 or 2 streams in these next 10 days, but if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen, and I apologize. In advance, life is crazy, stuff's happening, and I appreciate you all sticking with us. Let's throw that raid. Raid has been canceled. No, it hasn't. Okay. It
Looks
said
like it's
raid
worked
has
for
been
me.
created.
Nice.
Nice reading, Ice. As always, a couple of those Ice raid emotes. His the season to be icy. Is our new
good.
raid message.
That's so good. That's really funny.
I came up with that on a whim. That was another 2 a.m. one. If you want to just copy and paste that. If you don't have the Ice Raid emotes, just a couple of Ice Hearts, or just a couple of hearts, rather. Thank you all so much. And as always, keep it cool. See ya.
Bye.